So, all right. So my podcast this evening is with Lisa, and you have to give me the lowdown on the Luther thing, because somehow, even though I've been around a while, all I've got is that's like your Hulk, like that's like when you get angry, that's what happens.
Well, you know that Key and Peele skit, right?
No.
They were like Obama's like anger translator.
Oh, yes. And the guy's name's Luther?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, so it was I believe, that picked it out and decided I should be Luther.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, the Facebook thing is an awful. Part of the reason I do the podcast is because I'm so tired of the Facebook thing. It's not just that I'm tired of it. It's that it's a completely awful way for anyone to talk to each other. There's people that I absolutely like very much that hate me right now because I didn't agree with them and stuff like that. And it's too hard in a text format to just to go back and forth like that. Because then I think they add like a snotty attitude to everything. And that's not what I was doing. Like, I'm just trying to
No.
This is the facts as I know them. Those are the facts as you know them. Let's talk about it. But it gets way out of hand. I get people that are upset.
It's also really easy for people to be nasty because they're not face to face with you. So they can say things to people they don't even know.
Right. It's that situation where, like, in your car, you're easy to flip somebody off when you're in your car, but you wouldn't do it at the grocery store if they cut in front of you.
No, right.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, motherfucker.
No.
So this is my 21st podcast, so we're going to put some booze down while we have the podcast.
To the 21st podcast.
Right. Well, I hope that I get many more than that, but
that's exciting.
No, it's nice. So.
Yes.
And a buddy of mine dropped off some Fireball whiskey at which is what I'm drinking. She's just putting down some Kettle One for some ice fishing party that we had out. But anyway, so yeah, the Facebook thing, I can't even. They're like it bothers me that it never bothers me like that somebody doesn't like what I think. Like, I don't care.
No,
like that's totally fine. I know. Get a little more in that microphone if you would. Just get a little closer to it. So I don't mind you like not liking what I think, but like coming away with like I was being a total dick, and I have people that get really upset about. I think it's fake outrage. Like, I say something about something, and like I make a little jab at somebody. Like, they're totally making a jab at me, and I make a jab back. Like, that's something about like their grammar, or that they're not very smart.
Yes.
Anything, just a little tiny something, like subtle something, and they're like, I can't believe they're just so clutching their pearls, as Jackie would say.
Yes,
and
and it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. These are people that if I was out drinking with, they'd be cussing up a storm and everything else, and it'd be funny stuff. I mean, the best people that I like to hang out with are friends that we can make fun of each other because you're friends. Like, you're secure in that situation.
Yeah.
Facebook's just a real bad way to do it. And there are so many people who will post left and right. I don't care what side you're on. They will post an article that they love the headline, but they haven't even read the article themselves.
I think that's most people.
Right. Well, I don't.
Well, it's a lot.
It's a lot. It is definitely a lot. And then, like, there are times where somebody that has I know they've got a counter viewpoint to me. The headline looks like propaganda, so I click on it and I'm like, well, I want to know how many kids did Obama cage.
Right.
And then I start reading the article, and there's no facts in it. There's nothing that it just is like that he did. They make a false equivalency between a couple of kids that got separated from their parents, between that and like 8,000 kids. Right. A ludicrous situation. I saw a meme today that was what did it say? It said, imagine there was a civil war in America, and your neighborhood was getting shot up by terrorists. You pack up your kids, haul your ass to Canada, and Canada turns you away. But before they turn you away, they put your kids in cages and send you back to America. Yeah. That's America right now.
Yeah, and it is.
Right. That's what's going on.
I read something similar today. Same thing.
Right.
Same scenario.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. The other one that I hear that's real funny is there was a podcast I was listening to, and it was like I like listening to right wing and left wing stuff, But the guy was like, maybe we're full. And I was like, this guy was from New York or New Jersey or something. He's like, we're full. We just can't take any more people right now. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. We're never going to take any more because we're not going to get any less full. And secondly, have you been to Nebraska or Wyoming or Montana? Like, there's nobody there. Like, we're not full. If you were to, so like people today, it's a real weird time because everyone's got a platform. They got this little like Facebook platform that they're on or in, whatever they're on.
Yeah.
And they're putting stuff out there without ever looking at anything that's factual at all. Like all you'd have to do is go, all right, what's the population of the United States and what is the square footage or the square miles of the United States? That would tell you if we were full or not, right? I mean, so if you looked at a place like China or a place like India and you did the, how many people per square mile are here? We're not anywhere near full.
Nowhere near.
And if you were someone who was thinking about the best interest of the country, which is generally what I try and do. I try and pull myself back and go, okay, how's it going to work out best for the country? I don't care if you're brown, yellow, green, purple, none of that stuff. But how do you work out best for the country? And in my mind, it always works out best with more people because more people buy more shoes, shirts, cars, houses, everything that we do for a living, they buy more of.
Right.
So we're doing that, with that. And most of these people that are coming here for a job.
Yeah, and it's a proven fact that they help our economy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Right. Every time there's been a big influx in history in this country of immigration, the economy's had a boom because these are people trying to make a new living in the country. Yeah. I know that the right-wing thought is, I guess, that they're all coming to the country head off and rape people.
And take your job.
Strawberry picker wasn't on my list of jobs I wanted.
No, mine either. I really would like to know what job they actually did take from the people who think they're here taking their jobs.
I love, that cinnamon is good. Right. It's completely ludicrous. And the other one, I saw another meme that I saw that was funny was if immigrants are all lazy, how come ICE keeps raiding workplaces?
Right? I know.
Which is, one of those things that if you're going to get through to somebody who just likes a headline, that's a head scratcher, I guess. You got to just think about it a little bit. Like you and I both have strong feelings that are pretty negative for our president right now. Like we're not big fans. And I'm not big fans on all kinds of levels. But like before the podcast we were talking, you kind of wide-eyed me like when I said it. There are things about Trump that I absolutely like. I really do. I like things about him. And there are things that are negative about him, but the way that I look at it is they're destroying a narrative that, like, never again can we run the billionaire businessman and say that he's out for the people and stuff, because this guy's not.
No, he's obviously not.
He ran a tax scam that I have staunch Trump-supporting Republicans who, in confidentiality, out to lunch for drinks, are like, I spent $7,000 more this year in taxes than I did before this tax thing. And I'm like, so how do you feel about that? And they're like, I'm still voting for him. And he's exactly right. He could go on Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, and he wouldn't lose very much support.
Now, I was going to say, did these people say why?
I think it's always the alternative, and I believe that. Okay, so we look at things through a prism of. I'm not a Democrat. I've never identified as a Democrat.
No, you have never.
No. I've never been a guy who's like, Democrat. In fact, I have, until recently, I think I had an equal amount of Democrats who had me blocked on social media that I did Republicans.
That's interesting.
Right, because I would say things that were negative about Hillary Clinton. I would say things that were negative about the Democratic Party and stuff like that.
If you're honest, you will.
I'm not interested in the party. I'm only interested in the solution that works. And if you dissect, what's your thoughts on the new, what is there, 20 now? Democrats. I think Gillibrand just dropped out today.
She today. She didn't qualify for the next
debate. Because she didn't qualify, she dropped out. Which she didn't have to drop out. She just couldn't be at the debate, but you might as well drop out because it's not going to happen.
Right.
And I mean, I was never. She seemed to me to be too connected to Clintons. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And too, just tied up in corporate money and stuff like that. Where I couldn't. She was never on my radar as far as someone. And I'm super progressive as far as economic policy because I firmly. And I mean, I don't know how this works out for people who listen to this, but I firmly believe that if you feed the bottom of any ecosystem, including the economy in this country, that it helps everything. Like sooner or later, wealthy people are going to have that money because they have all the things in place. They own Walmart, like they own Amazon. So sooner or later, when I get money, I'm going to spend it at Amazon for a new pair of shoes.
Middle class people spend their money. It's fact.
We
shop. We buy
you
cars.
spend a bigger percentage of your money than anybody else does because,
as soon as you get a raise, you spend it. You buy a new car. You buy a bigger house. You buy this or that for your kids, whatever.
Right. I mean, even if you're a guy that saves and you're fiscally responsible, you still are going, if you're a guy who makes $100,000 a year versus a guy that makes $3 million a year, he can't, possibly spend 90% of his money on things he needs because he's got too much money.
Right.
So anytime that there's money coming in, and that's why, like, if somebody, I like the podcast situation because I'm hoping, and I'd like to get more Trump supporting right wingers on to talk about like exactly what the mind process is on it. Yeah. And the one that I do understand and I dig it, I'm actually down for it, is he was going to throw a wrench into the system. I believe he did, but I believe it's like the Wile E. Coyote or Bugs Bunny thing where the guy's got the gun that blows up in their face.
Yeah.
Because I totally see this guy destroying the Republican Party. It's being ripped apart. There are dozens of Republicans that are like TV personality Republicans that you could name, like famous ones that have always been conservative commentators that are never Trumpsters. They are never.
Because the foundation of the Republican Party has nothing to do with Trump.
Well, we get the party thing too. Like I'd like to almost, that's so tribal. I'd like to stick with conservatism and progressivism because that's historically been the way. Because you could say that Abe Lincoln was a Republican, but not today.
Well, no, because the party's kind of
right. But
flip-flop.
They were the progressive party at one time.
They were.
They were the party
they are
that
no longer.
No, right. No. Right.
No.
It all switched at one point because that's just how time goes and things change. Right. But so if we stick with saying like the labels that we got to put on it would be conservative or progressive, conservative, liberal. For me, liberal's got too many connotations to like that you're tree hugging, bleeding heart, crying about everything or whatever like that. And I don't know. I think those people exist on the coasts.
Sure.
But in the Midwest, a liberal's not that person. Like
no.
I've got more guns than all kinds of conservatives I know.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean.
But there goes with our whole, just because you want some better gun control or common sense gun laws doesn't mean you don't think people should own guns.
Right. And there's plenty of, I love the wimpy narrative too. Like there's all kinds of people that call themselves conservatives that I would rip into pieces if we ever fought when I was walking around. So like, don't, just because you're watching Fox News all day long and telling you that this is, doesn't make you tough.
No.
You gotta learn how to fight. So you gotta somehow be trained how to do that. Like that's not a thing that comes with being a conservative.
No.
So now there are things in the actual conservative. Donald Trump doesn't display any of these traits, but fiscal responsibility would be great. That would be terrific if we would pay our bills when things are good. And that's one that right now drives me nuts because we're running more than $1 trillion deficit, and he keeps telling everyone the economy is the greatest thing that it's ever been in the history of ever.
Yes.
And if you're not going to pay your bills when things are going great, you're at work, you just got a raise, you just got a promotion. I mean, try and imagine the greatest economic time in your life. Did you just run the credit cards up then? No, because when you lose your job and you're like looking for the other job, you need the credit cards then so you can get by. And that's the way this thing works. we have to spend money when there's a recession. We got to put money into infrastructure and stuff that creates jobs, which creates economic, prosperity, growth. Right? People can buy shoes and TVs and stuff like that because they're building the road or the bridge or the, railroad or whatever's going on. So some of this stuff just doesn't jive as far as I don't think the government should be as involved as they are in some stuff, but there's levers that are there, like interest rates. If the economy is awesome, like in the Reagan days when it was supposed to be awesome, right? The Reaganomics.
Reaganomics.
Then interest rates go up because they're a fail-safe for when the economy starts to dip. You can lower the interest rates, people purchase more, and then you can keep things going. Where our interest rates, he keeps arguing to get them lower and lower and lower in this great economy. If it takes a downturn, there's no lever to pull. It's not there. It's gone. Mm-mm. So that one's not there. And then the deficit thing, that you're just running up the bills and you're not.
I thought that was always the biggest cry from a conservative.
So that's a bonus for us, right?
Yes,
because I don't have to listen to that no more.
No, no, they should never say that again.
Don't say that again, right?
Ever.
Right. And I only know a few. I don't know how many Republicans do you know? You said before we were talking on the podcast that you knew some Republicans that were never Trumpsters.
Yeah.
So who? I mean, not who, but how many do you know like that? Like for real? Because there's an attorney friend of ours who would say that, but I'm positive he voted for him. He wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton, and he wasn't not going to not vote. He's a good guy, and he's a civically minded guy. But
they said they voted. I mean, it's not like tons of them, but a few. They voted Democrat for the first time.
Yeah, I can believe that. I don't have any that I.
And I believe them because I still talk to them about stuff, and they hate Trump.
Yeah, right. No, it's obvious that there's plenty of columnists. There's plenty of different TV personalities that were, Bill Kristol and all those people that were totally Republican conservatives and stuff like that, and they're not on board with this. But it's almost like they haven't. I don't know. Like he is the greatest politician I've ever seen ever. He is spectacular at that. He says things like he just keeps repeating the same thing, even though it's a lie over and over again.
Yeah. It's like say it 3 times and it's true.
Right. Which, is wild.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I don't really deal with any family, but I don't have to deal with any family that is on the other side of it. I think your situation's the other way, and even your partner is.
Yeah.
Yes, now so if I remember correctly, you at first said that he voted for Trump, but then you said, well, he didn't actually vote, but he would have if...
No, he did. Yeah, he voted for Trump.
Oh,
he had said if Bernie would have been the Democratic candidate, he would have voted for Bernie.
So he's a guy that I understand where he's coming from. We want to throw a wrench in it.
Yeah, something different. He was raised with parents who are conservatives, so he has some conservative
but he's
beliefs,
from out...
Grant Park.
Right. Yeah, so that's right.
Yeah,
right.
Everybody there is
right. You'd be tar and feathered if you weren't.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yes, and if you weren't white, and
right.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
He's not like that.
Right.
He came out of that, so that's good. I mean, not like that. Some of his friends. Oh my God.
See, now there's some things that I would like to bitch about Democrats about. There was just a thing on Southwest Suburban Activists or something like that. One of the things on Facebook, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not even gonna. It was a situation where there was a whole 3 paragraphs of why you should not call someone handicapped. You need to call everything accessible and all this other nonsense. And I'm like, this is the bullshit that drives me fucking up the wall. This is the shit that Republicans point to because you're just I'm a quadriplegic. I do not give a fuck about any of that.
No.
Handicap, do whatever you want. Any reasonable black person doesn't care if you call them black, call them African American. Just call them a person, whatever you want to. Right. I mean.
But no, you're right.
If you want to refer to the bathroom stall and you don't want to say the handicap stall, don't. But this couple paragraphs was explicitly explaining to people that they needed to be more sensitive of, Oh, fuck that.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
You don't need to be
there are so many
anything-
more important things
Right,
going on right now
completely.
that we should be focusing
Right,
on. Not whether you
right.
call a bathroom a handicap stall
Exactly.
or a handicap
Right.
accessible.
No, don't care. And I mean, I've been a handicapped guy for 16 years now, and I do not give a fuck. Like, nothing. I don't care about any of that shit. I've had people that were mad at me on Facebook call me a cripple or whatever like that, and I'm like, all right, I'm not even upset about it. If that's as
you're
best
above
you
that.
right,
But
if
what a juvenile for
if
saying
that's the
that.
best you've got,
Yeah,
then we're not going to
yeah.
talk anymore because you're
No.
just an idiot.
No, you're a low-life douchebag.
Right,
truthfully.
right. So we can just be done. That's fine. And for me, the wheelchair stuff has been like awesome as far as an asshole filter. If like there were women that probably would have spent some time talking to me before I was paralyzed, but then would see me and be like, I am not making eye contact with this guy in any way because I'm not going to have him make eye contact. I'm not having like it's like a homeless person.
Wow.
And I am like, no, I love it. I'm like, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's
I
a true
will
character
never.
test.
Right, it's so easy.
Yeah, this is true.
Before I would have had to like date you for 3 months to find out that you were a fucking piece of shit, which I don't have to do now. Like you're gone.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then there's other people that that have filled that void anyway, and it's fine, and they're obviously quality people. So
Right.
now we're done. I do get some weirdos every once in a while that I'm in PetSmart and she'd like to put a leash on me and give me a bowl of milk and take me home and take care of me, and she's got like a mommy issues or whatever she's got going on.
Oh wow.
And I don't need that either.
No. There's those are both the two extremes.
Right.
You don't need.
Right. You can usually see that coming a mile away. You know what I mean? It's like there's bells and whistles going
Oh
off.
God.
So the Democrat thing, that stuff drives me nuts. And then the other thing that drives me absolutely up the fucking wall is every single thing that happens to a black person, Mexican person, Oriental person, Asian person, however you want to say, whatever. If you're Korean, listen, I don't expect everybody to know the difference between. I can tell the difference usually between a Japanese person, a Chinese person, or a Korean person, or a Vietnamese person. They just look a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And I think the safe thing now is to say Asian person,
Right.
which is all fine. Oriental's somehow bad now again. I don't know, but
Yeah, it used to be Oriental. Now it's Asian.
now it's Asian. Right.
Politically correct is
I
Asian.
I think if you're an Asian person who is interested in world problems being solved, you don't give a fuck about that either. Like it's
No.
just nonsense. But I'd have to have an Asian person that to talk about that with. I don't know, but every single thing that happens in a negative way to them or to women, it's not racist and it's not sexist. Sometimes shitty things just happen because people are shitty people.
Well, yeah, or just circumstances
Right.
are shitty.
I
I
mean,
things
I've been in a
happen.
situation where like I was pulling into a parking lot in I don't know where, like Christmas shopping or something years ago, and a black woman, like I didn't even realize that I took her parking spot or she thought I took her parking. I just pulled in the parking spot, got out, and she jumped right up in my face and started saying all this stuff that like I was a racist and stuff like this. And I'm like, listen, I'm not a racist. You are an asshole, but I'm not a racist, and it has nothing to do with you being black.
Yeah.
For me to say this, you're just an asshole. So like this is how it is. But she was like, totally went with the cracker and stuff, which to me, like I hope African Americans understand that doesn't. Most white people that's not a thing.
No.
I was never oppressed by your people.
But if you're using that to insult a person because you think they're racist,
yeah.
how are you any better?
Right. Well, I don't. Well, no. Like I just had a podcast with Kwame Johnson, and there are African Americans who believe he disagreed with it that if you're black, you can't be a racist. Like that's not a possibility.
Oh, that's not true.
Right. That's like saying you're a woman, you can't be a sexist.
Yeah.
And that's not true either. There's women that think men are, all terrible.
Yeah.
Which, however you do, but I disagree.
Yeah, I completely disagree. I know Mexicans who are racist. Well,
Sure.
they don't like black people.
That and
Not all of them.
No.
I'm just saying I know a few that are like that. So to say that they're not or they can't be is ridiculous.
Right. I know more second generation Mexicans that are Trump supporters than that aren't.
It's gonna kill you.
No, I think it's a situation where I I think every nationality did. I think the Italians did it, the Germans did it, the Irish did it. It's pulling up the ladder after you get into the lifeboat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah. You're the next guy in. You can't get in.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit. That's not the, like, I don't know. Like,
it's not supposed to be the American way.
The one Koch brother just died.
Yeah.
And he just passed away, and I made a comment on something like, now he's just as wealthy as every other dead person. Nothing. You have nothing. You can't take. You're no different because of your money. No. So it means nothing. What means something is how you acted with people your entire life.
Right.
So, if you think pulling up the ladder after you got into the lifeboat makes you now I'm safe and I'm good and I'm better, you're not better.
No.
You're actually shittier than maybe that person swimming. So, like, that stuff makes me nuts. I feel like there's definitely times where things are a powder keg, where things could go. Like, I think we've lived our lives. I mean, we didn't even mention that we've known each other since, I think I'm 8 and you're like 7 or 6 years old or something like that.
Yeah, a long time.
Little tiny
That's like
people.
40 years.
Yeah, right. Like we lived 4 or 5 doors apart growing up. But I think we've lived our entire lives where everything was pretty cushy. Everybody kind of got along pretty good. We were Americans. Most things that you saw, like in movies and stuff like that, it was, a lot of nationalist pride and stuff like that, which is, dandy. But there at times they've changed a little bit. I think things are definitely different, and I'm different. I look at patriotism and nationalism as two completely different things.
Yeah.
And one of them's just downright dangerous.
Yes.
So, call it? Yeah, there's things that I don't like about the way things are going right now, and I don't want the people that are leading it. You can't do anything about them. But the people that I know that are friends of mine, I would rather not ever have a situation where we, where we hate each other because of different political ideology or something like that. And mine's so mixed. I don't know. Like, I don't know what, like, I don't think me and you have ever had the occasion to talk about, we just had 2 pretty good shootings that were pretty devastating.
Yeah.
And they weren't in Toledo. It was in Dayton. I mean, our president said Toledo.
Yes, well, because
he's not very
he's
bright.
An idiot.
Right. But so the El Paso shooting and the Dayton shooting, and they were pretty rough. The one guy, the police were there in 30 seconds, but he still killed 9 people in 30 seconds.
Oh, God.
So like I'm a tricky spot on guns. Like I am. I mean, and it's there's a lot of nuance to my gun feelings because I grew up in a gun culture, like hunting and all the other stuff. We were always doing that, right? So I don't know what your thoughts are on guns and what to do as far as the we can't do anything because laws and that's all nonsense. There has to be something that you do because there are people with dead children and you need to do something.
Yeah,
to change that.
we need to do something. Right. I don't know. I think licensing is a good thing. I think if you had to have a license everywhere to own a gun and they were registered in the national database. That'd
be pretty extreme as far as that goes. That would definitely, I definitely know some Second Amendment warriors that their head would explode the minute you said that.
Anything we say, their head explodes. We say universal background check, their heads explode.
Right, I don't think that's true. So
get rid of assault.
Right, so weapons. Where are the... They did a Fox News poll, and it was like 89% of Fox News viewers thought universal background checks were a good thing.
More and more people do seem to be getting on board with that.
But here's the rub. I think if you went back and you polled all those people, I think a very high percentage would think that there already was. I've had this conversation where I had to produce a map that showed you what states had background checks and what states did not have background checks. And this is for sure a federal problem because we move around in this country without Checkpoint Charlie. So like if I go to Indiana
Right.
and buy something, then
That's
I can.
why they say Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws, but they
That's
border us.
right.
Well,
That's a
I
nonsense.
also know
Right,
that.
right.
But when people want to use that as an example,
Yes.
but don't know any better,
Right.
We border a state.
I won't even go as
Where
far
you
as to
can
say
go right there and get what you
they
want.
don't know any better.
Well, they choose not to.
Right. I think that some people choose not to. Now, my nuanced position on the gun situation is I don't want it's a bend don't break. I don't want there to be a time where the government says, fuck it. We're just the day that like 3 people walk in with, high capacity round magazines and they walk into Congress and they shoot 50 members of Congress and their aides and everything else, that's the day that they just go, fuck it, we're going to take all the guns and you can't do shit about it because...
Except we've had Congress people shot and they still haven't acted.
Right.
Not 50 at once.
No, right. I'm
But,
just saying,
I mean-
you have to have something beyond horrific happen to them, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe two straight. The only person that can get away with... So there's another Trump thing. He got away with he did a executive order to ban bump stocks. Now, Obama's never banned anything as far
No.
as anything goes.
While he was in office, I believe that there were more guns.
More
People own guns than...
but bought guns.
Yes.
And they bought ammunition too, but that was because they were sold a bill of goods of fear that he was taking them away.
Stacking up. But the gun laws were, they were less lax throughout his administration.
He actually opened it up where you could carry a gun on an Amtrak. You could take a gun into a national park
Yes.
and stuff like that.
So this
your
whole,
gun rights were expanded.
Democrats are coming after your gun theory.
But
is
I don't know if
BS.
I don't think it's a theory. I think it's a propaganda tool that
Well, it
the
is.
gun people use to sell guns.
It is, but they made it into a theory.
Right,
that
right,
people believe.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, because you look
And
at
it's
the
definitely
NRA.
propaganda. The NRA and Fox News. I keep hitting your table and it's making that noise because I talk with my hands.
Right. The NRA uses fear to stoke people into buying more guns.
Yes.
And the NRA was doing wonderfully during the Obama years because people were, putting money into it. They were scared they're going to lose their guns. The NRA is going to be your shield of protection. And since Trump has taken office, they're in trouble, I guess. Well, it doesn't help that Wayne LaPierre is like, putting up whatever 19-year-olds or 20-year-olds in apartments and stuff like that. So
yeah, that probably didn't help. But yeah, I don't. They do. They use fear.
So licensing, which I wouldn't argue with it, but like I said, my position is bend don't break. It's a situation that if you stay rigid on no more new gun laws, nothing, and this keeps happening, sooner or later you're going to break because they're just going to walk right over you. And every gun guy's like, well, I'll shoot you or whatever like that.
Oh yeah. We were talking about that thing earlier about going to Canada, and I said that this is America.
Right.
And I was like, I'm kind of ashamed. Or I am ashamed that this is what's happening in this country right now. And this other person came back with, well, you just have to take your gun and you blow their head off and you blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then reality steps in.
Right, too many movies.
Yeah,
right.
But you're not going to do that.
Did you see I shared something on Facebook today that was, there was a guy, I don't know what state they were in, but a cop showed up at his door and he's a concealed carry guy. There was an alarm call that the cop got. When he showed up at the door, the homeowner was inside the door, opened the door, and pointed a gun at the cop because all he could see was the cop with the flashlight at 12 a.m. shining it at the door. The cop shot the guy twice because he had a gun in his hand, and the guy was livid that the cop shot him. He was like, "What the hell did you do, man? You shot." He goes, "You pointed a gun at me." And I don't know. Don't know if the cop was wrong. And I'm pro cop. I'm only not pro cop when cop hides or helps a guy who's a shitbag. Because there's terrible people in every profession.
Absolutely, there are.
Right.
To call them out doesn't mean you're anti-police.
Well, it's a brotherhood, and they got each other's back, sort of a thing. But to me, that's not acceptable.
Do you know, like any police officers? I actually sat and talked to a friend of mine, and he's like, he's not on Facebook. His wife is. And she and I don't agree on much. But he's like, I've seen her stuff. He's like, and you're not wrong about a lot of it. He said, there are bad cops. He's like, and for us to pretend there aren't is a lie.
Right. Right.
I said, but there's also bad people. Like, I mean, I get it. I don't think that it's not one or the other. There's a problem on both sides.
If you go just by the numbers, because there's more guns out in the open, and I'm not even. There's more guns per capita, I believe, in Switzerland and Japan. I think those two countries have more guns per person in their country than America does. And yeah, I know Switzerland does, because Switzerland is a situation where I think everybody has to serve in Switzerland in the military, so every single person serves in the military, and everybody's trained with a gun there.
Yeah, but they're per capita that might be.
Right, they're a mountainous, it's a different kind of culture and stuff like that. And I don't think, when we say guns, it's weird to me that people want to make it that there's no difference between the AR-15 or an assault rifle. And I mean, I understand that AR does not mean assault rifle, it's Armalite.
Right.
But that a weapon that's designed to kill people and a weapon that's designed to kill pheasants or deer or something like that.
Different.
For me, they're completely different. They look completely different. I went in, I don't know, like 12 years ago or something like that, and I wanted to pick up a .223 for coyotes. And the guy pulls this gun off the thing, and I'm like, what the fuck? No. I looked at that, and he goes, what do you mean no? And I go, no, I'm not, that's not a, that, no. I'm looking for like a thing with a wooden rifle, and I want to shoot.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot one time and kill this animal because I've been hunting since I'm like 8 years old. Like, no, what are you doing with that? Like, you're going to storm, I don't know what, Walmart or something. That's insane.
That is
and he looked
insane.
at me like I was crazy, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're showing me. That is not, I would be embarrassed to have that at my house, where other people look at that gun, they're like, oh
yeah,
that's a thing.
Oh my gosh. And you know what kills me is the people that I personally know that don't own guns, and if they do own a gun, it's a handgun that was recently purchased with one person in particular that I'm speaking of, and keeps posting these things about his right to own an AR-15, and you're not going to come and take mine away, and blah, 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 all this stuff. Because it's
I don't own
this,
handguns either.
Thing
That's
of,
just not my thing.
No, it's this big, like, whatever. You get the rocks off shooting these guns. But I'm like, you don't even own them, but you're still trying to fight it.
Right, there's a niche for that, too. Like, so one person's freedom is another person's jail, right? So, like, if your freedom is I get to own an AR-15 or I get to own this, automatic, semi-automatic, high-capacity round killing machine that I've got.
Which is what it is.
That's your freedom, right? Okay, I don't want to take your freedom away so I can feel free not to live in a police state. So I don't want to live in a place where if I go to Target, there's people with slings and guns walking around everywhere.
Right.
That's not the country I want to live in.
No.
I don't want my children to go to school and everybody's armed at the school. That's complete insanity.
You want to go to an airport and you don't have the whole airport armed like that?
That's the meme that I always see, the Israel one. I don't live in Israel, so that's not what I want to do. But so that's my freedom, and you're infringing on my freedom if you're talking about how, we got to arm all these teachers and all this other nonsense, which is just nonsense.
It is absolutely nonsense.
But that's not a situation that more bullets flying in every direction is not going to make anything safer.
No, because especially look at some of these shootings that take place in like open carry states where,
Well, this guy was a concealed carry in that meme, and he pointed a gun because he couldn't tell it was a cop. Cop shot him twice. He was completely livid that the cop shot him. And you know what? If the guy was not a concealed carry guy, if he just came to the cop would not have shot him. Like, I don't know how an officer shows up. I got my buddy Andy, and I love the guy. I really do. He's a terrific guy. He does things for charity. He's a really good guy. But he looks like, we did the biker podcast, and he's got like a braid down to the middle of his back, or almost to his ass. He's dressed like a biker and everything else. And I can tell you how many movies I've seen with a guy walking around with a gun and he's the bad guy that looks like Andy.
Yeah.
Now, Andy would be the good guy with the gun, but if 6 police officers showed up and they got a call for an active shooter, they shoot Andy because he looks like he could be the bad guy. He absolutely looks like he could be your white nationalist terrorist guy, and then he dies.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Andy's heart was in the right place. He was there to, he had his gun. He's been hoping for this day forever, man. And, here it is. And so I don't see how that works out. I don't see how it's like good for police to have everybody walking around armed either.
No, I don't.
So these are just things that hopefully, maybe, I'm supposed to do a podcast with Andy again. We're going to talk about that kind of stuff. Maybe he can enlighten me. He can explain to me how he's going to, I don't know, he's going to wear a certain thing that's like he's a good guy. I don't know, because if I don't know you, Andy, and I'm the officer that arrives, I'm shooting you. Mm-hmm. So, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not a culture that I grew up in. I grew up in I use that 20 gauge with that shell for doves. I use this 12 gauge with that shell for geese. It's a tool. It's just like hammers and saws and everything else. So, I'm baffled by some of it, and I want to sit down and have a long conversation with somebody about it and understand how I think it's a false sense of, I don't know, like cockiness, that they think they've got this thing that they don't ever have to give an inch on anything.
They do.
Right. I don't know.
And I don't know. I do think a lot of people think that way.
Right. I'm going to ask them. You know what I mean? So like that's the way I look at it.
Yes.
But I don't want to assume that, because I make an ass out of myself if I assume shit.
Well, yeah. I guess I go by what they say.
Which is tough, right? It's tough to go by what people say, because sometimes they say this and sometimes they say that, and then that's definitely a tough one. And like I said, out of the presidents, Reagan did the Brady Act, that banned assault weapons, right? Those were gone. Yep. That's a Republican. And Trump banned bump stocks.
Yeah.
I don't know, did Clinton ban anything? I thought the assault weapons thing came off when he was there. I don't know. It
might have been that it just went.
A Second Amendment crusader could tell me all about it, I'm guessing.
Because it was 1994 to 2004, right? The Brady Law is what that was, right?
Yes, yeah. And then it was over with. So I guess then W would have let that lapse.
Yeah, it's W, I believe. Because I think those were the years.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me that W would let that lapse. I mean, that seems like a thing that would play good with his base.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, totally. But yeah, I don't know.
And 2004 is an election year, so, you want to get reelected, let stuff like that go and not have it anymore. And I know there's all kinds of guys that were super happy. And like I said, I don't want that's their freedom too. So my theory on that is, if you are super, super happy to take your semi-automatic rifle with a 30-round magazine and go to a range and shoot a bunch of paper targets, or play Hogan's Alley where you're walking through and things pop open and you shoot them, like that makes you super happy, great. I want you to be able to do that. So maybe that kind of a weapon that's just meant for shooting, because the paper targets are people. They're not, they're not deer and rabbits and shit.
They're not.
And then the things that pop out are usually people that are criminals and stuff, and you're you're killing like Rambo or T.J. Hooker.
TJ.
So if that's what makes you super happy, like you live your little fantasy doing that stuff, great. You should go to a club. You should check it into a locker.
Yep. I read your idea about that, and I thought that was great.
Right. Because then you can still have your freedom to do the thing that you like to do, but it's not walking around the street, and it's not in a situation where maybe it's at your house, somebody breaks in your house, gets that weapon, and does a bunch of damage, or like that psychopath in the Sandy Hook situation who got into his mother's locker, got the weapon, shot the mother, and then went to the school and shot 21 little tiny kids.
In a matter of
no time. If you look at this guy, he doesn't look like he's anybody who could handle it.
6-year-old?
Well, he looks like he could shoot a 6-year-old. He looks a little deranged, but he doesn't look like anybody who could handle a high pressure situation, or he certainly's not beating anybody up. You know what I mean, sort of thing.
No.
He's a little like dweeby, doofusy looking, goofy goo. But he killed all those kids and some adults. It was terrible. And my thing was with that is if nothing changes after that, then nothing's going to change.
And it's continued. I mean, how many more children have been
The only thing I won't stand for,
slaughtered?
right, is the knuckleheads. And there's a couple of them. When I see them on Facebook, that's when I unfollow them or block them or whatever. And it's the false flag people, the people that claim that those are. There's a knucklehead that she's on my Facebook now, and I think she's, in my mind, she's got 2 strikes. One more time with the Democrats set up that shooting to make Trump look bad or something like that.
Oh my God.
And it's like, you got to go. You just go back onto your Nazi, your swastika-colored rock.
You're sick.
Right, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Which there's always going to be those people.
That's on both sides.
Right.
There are whack jobs on both sides.
Right. So, okay, so with your family, though, how do you deal? How do you deal with the fact that,
Well, it depends on who we're talking about. My brother and I can have discussions about some things.
Right.
My sister-in-law, we don't speak about politics at all.
Okay.
That's
Sean's wife.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No. I consider myself pretty well informed. I fact check.
Right.
I hear things, whether it's from whoever I read, and I like to know. I don't know that always happens. I think so. We just don't talk because it just never ends well. My brother and I we don't agree on a lot.
Now, but you say because there's people that I know.
We actually do agree. I don't know. He went to the Marine Corps, and he came out totally different.
I'm from a family of Marines, and they're all liberal.
I know.
Right.
I'm not. But that's how he came out.
I know. But like Andy says that kind of stuff too, and I just don't. I think that there must be predisposition to come out that way, because, like I said, my dad's a Vietnam veteran Marine. Mm-hmm. My grandmother was a Marine during World War II. I mean, you're talking about times that are way back.
No, I know.
And didn't come out with any kind of crazy.
And maybe it was the people he was with at the time.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
Sure.
But he came out a completely different person. Now, I also think part of it is he surrounds himself with people who are not. My brother's not a racist, but he has friends that are, and he talks the game when he's around them.
Yeah, right.
And
that's Oprah when
he
she's
likes
around
to flash, and say dumb things, and and I was always like, when I had kids, he never had kids. That's both of our choices. And I'm like, not around my chick kids. This is not okay. Blah, blah, blah. Nope. And he would respect that.
Wouldn't matter anyway. I mean, kids nowadays, they just don't have even the same. Like, I've talked to my, I try not to be. I'm sure I'm an influence on my sons. I want to be an influence on them with work ethic and stuff like that. But I want them to totally make. I think you're smarter if you make your own decisions in those situations.
You are.
I think that Fox News sometimes tricks you into thinking you made your own decision, because if you listen to some of the personalities on there, they're not journalists. They're just personalities. I mean, Sean Hannity's a complete fucking douchebag.
Oh my God.
But he does a lot of things where he makes a statement, like tries to give you like paint you a picture, and then ask you to think about it. And then you obviously come up with the conclusion that he wants you to come up with because he painted the whole picture.
Because he's given you everything.
Right, he gave you everything else.
Yeah.
And then you come up with, that all Mexicans are rapists and all that sort of stuff, which is complete nonsense.
So
that all Muslims hate us
for
that's the other one. That all Muslims hate us for our freedom or hate, I don't even know what. Like, I don't understand that. And then I don't doubt that there are radical Muslims. I just went through this with Kwame. There are African Americans who hate white people. There are white people who hate African Americans.
Yes.
Those things feed off of each other.
Yes.
If you could just not be one of those people, you'll get less of those people, because those are created. Like, there was no white person born that was like, whew, 3, I hate black people. Like,
it's all learned.
It's all learned.
I mean, you come out of the womb, you're not.
Right.
You don't know any of these things. You don't hate people. You don't hate color.
Right.
You learn it.
Right, and
but
people
like
are,
my family, nobody was like that, and I don't know how my brother turned into this.
Oh, really? So like your dad's not a?
No, my God, no.
Oh,
my
I don't know.
My dad, my grandparents, all very, very left.
Right.
Not extreme left, but Democrats. Full. My granddad was born and raised in Georgia. I mean,
so a Dixiecrat then?
You don't come across, I mean, bigger racist than, that area, right?
Sure.
Well, and then he ended up, and he's a chief warrant officer in the Army. When he retired from the Army, he went and he was an advocate for, like, civil rights. And, I mean, like, the stories, I was too young, I wasn't even alive for some of it. My mom and my aunts and my uncles, talk about it, and how, he was always equal rights for everybody. And his mother was a bigot and came from Alabama after she moved there on a bus to where they lived outside of St. Louis. That's where he retired. And she said the N-word. She had to sit next to one on the bus. And my mom and my aunts will say that my granddad was like about in tears because she spoke that way. And he was like, you're not going to be welcome in my house if that's what you speak.
Right.
So we weren't raised that way. Nobody in my family.
Right. And see, I can't say that. Like, I mean, even though my dad's it just seemed like that generation, like if you took a liberal person from 40 years ago, they just got a little bit more. There's a little salt and pepper in there of racism that is in there. And I don't know if it's a situation where we're so separated and now we're starting to all come together. Because if you talk to my sons, they absolutely, like I said to them, I go, hey, if you're at school and one of your buddies is dating a black girl, how's that? Does anyone make any jokes or say anything about, does anyone razz them about it at all? They're like, no, absolutely not. And I'm like, all right. And then like we had a whole different, we were terrible. Humans are terrible like wretches.
Yes.
We were awful to the kids that were, and when I say we, it was a collective we. I don't believe I was personally, but my friends were terrible with like a little girl that had Down syndrome, like all that kind of stuff was not, it was.
Oh my God, there were some kids we went to school with that were awful.
Right, and maybe that's my generation saying that it's awful. Like nobody was like, I don't think anyone was like beating them up or anything like that, but they were joking and kidding around.
They did mean things.
Yeah, well, I don't remember anyone doing it. The one girl's name was Monica when we were growing up, and she had Down syndrome, and they had a nickname for her. Right, but I don't remember anyone ever like going at her with it. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I should say names of people, but
no.
We had a girl
you say a first name, that's fine, but no last name.
In a wheelchair. Her brother was my age, so she might have been a year older than me.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know her.
Put like tampons in the back of her, wheelchair, so that she didn't know. I mean, like
just dumb shit.
I mean, It's not physically harming anybody, but it's like you're
right.
What
Jokes,
are you doing?
Dumb stuff, right. Which I don't think nowadays, though.
No, I don't think that would happen.
No, they're super good with the special ed kids.
Yes.
They're super good about like that's going to be the prom queen and the prom.
I know. It's just it makes me cry every time I see it.
Right. No, it's wonderful that they've come this far.
Yeah.
But they've also come further on. Now, maybe it's just the area that we live in. We live in a very nice, area that's got money and everything else. Possibly if you move into another area that maybe it's a little more redneckish and it's like they're behind it. But it does seem to be getting better as far as like things go. Right? It seems to be progressing in the right direction. As far as that goes, now there's always going to be. When I complain that there's Democrats that I know that everything's racist. I think you take away the power of it if you make everything it.
You do.
Listen, you need to discern which is and which isn't racist so that you can stop doing that part.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing. So yeah, I mean, I think they're all people, and I think that I think there's a party in the country that has to, like I said, maybe I want someone to tell me I'm wrong and explain it to me and show me some examples. But I watch both. Like I'll watch Fox News every once in a while. I actually do really enjoy it when like one of their candidates loses, because then it's so much fun to like turn it on. They're all like somber. It's my guilty pleasure. But like I'll totally listen to Rush Limbaugh on the day that Barack Obama wins the presidency. He's like doesn't know what to say to himself.
It's a silent
right.
broadcast.
Well, he just blah 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 blah. Blah blah blah. Give me some OxyContin.
Yeah.
But so like I listen to both, and I hear Republicans on social media say stuff like, that Democrats hate us and blah, blah, and I'm like, I don't see the hate the same way. That and I do see. I've got very good friends. I enjoy conversations with Andy. I enjoy conversations, long ones, with my buddy Tony, who's in town here, and they're Republicans. They're staunch Trumpsters and all that other stuff. That doesn't bother me a bit, and I don't ever get the feeling that they hate me for my views, so we can have conversations about it. There are some things that I look at them and I'm like, dude, like we got to get like some baseline of facts here, because you can't just say the things you're saying.
So we were talking about family.
Yeah.
So other brother, he's my stepbrother, but I love him. Like, we're brother sister. We never say stepbrother or anything
Sure.
okay? So we were just visiting 2 weeks ago in Pittsburgh.
The guy's my age. Oh,
and,
no.
No, older.
Okay.
And he's one of these, he's a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, why are there so many of them on the right?
I don't know.
The left really, ones drive me nuts too, though.
Too, and it's all ridiculous to me.
Right.
Fact check, people, just fact check. But so when we're talking about some of these things, and I said that, he goes, opinions are what matter, not facts. I said, what the fuck did you just say?
No, right.
He's like, opinions are what matter. Facts don't matter. I'm like, facts are the only thing that matter. Like, you can have your opinion, but that doesn't change anything.
Right.
I mean, she just blew my mind.
It's a completely different. Right, well, then the conversation's over with because you can't.
Yeah, there's no.
So right,
there's no going further.
Right,
than that.
well, that's like when you have a conversation with somebody, and you're like, "Hey, Uncle Joe," and I don't have an Uncle Joe. Can you explain how the planet's 6,000 years old, and we weren't alive when there was dinosaurs, but in the fossil record? And he's like, "Well, Jesus." And I'm like, well, no, that's not an answer. Like, the conversation's completely over with at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that's your answer.
Yeah.
Then I got to roll
Yes.
because that's not gonna happen. So when someone says all that matters is my opinion, well, dude, then what are we having a conversation about? Because you're not interested in anything that has to do with facts or anything like that. And
I was trying to get to him to tell me. I'm like, where do you get your information from? Like, do you research? What's your resources for anything that you think?
You follow the president on Twitter, right?
Yes.
So you see, okay. So I do too, and it's a guilty pleasure of mine that I read his completely dumb, weird.
Yes.
He's getting stranger
My
too.
My guilty pleasure to tell him to fuck off every day.
The windmills cause cancer.
Oh my God!
No, it's getting,
the noise from windmills causes cancer.
But the noise from the windmills causes cancer. Did you say the last one? He's going to send nuclear bombs and hurricanes.
Yes, nuclear
to stop hurricanes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So these are things that this guy says, and
they repeat it.
Well, but if you watch, okay, so I like to I really like to understand how people think, and I really like to. Sometimes it's like a train wreck, right? So
that's what I was trying to get at. I want to know how he thinks, where he gets his information
from.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of times that if the windmill thing comes up and they're saying that, then I'll watch all of my right-wing friends on social media posting things negative about windmills.
Yes.
If something comes up about Elizabeth Warren, boom, we're all over Elizabeth Warren. She's this. If something comes up about, the one that it's like
he tweets it and a meme is made about it.
Yes,
and they post
and then they post it because they're all over it too. The ones that I love is it's the flavor of the month. Whoever they feel threatened by is who they're all over. So they're all over Joe Biden.
Oh yeah, big time.
And Joe Biden, who gives a shit? If he's the candidate, I think that's their best chance of losing to Donald Trump is if they run Joe Biden.
Probably.
I think that that's just my opinion. It just reminds me of a total retake on running Hillary Clinton. You decided to run Hillary Clinton, and I don't feel that Trump still has the same chances. I was a person who, when he was running, was like, he could win. People were like, no way.
No,
I had right-wing friends who were like, no way he could possibly. This is a joke. This is so stupid. I can't believe. I had one cousin of mine who was like over for dinner, and he's like, Bill, stop. There's absolutely no chance he becomes president. And I'm like, I'm telling you, people, they're looking at it from this other viewpoint. It could totally happen, and it did. Mm-hmm. And I think the X factor was Hillary Clinton. I think that you could, if you said, all right, Donald Trump's going to be the nominee on this side, pick somebody he could beat, Hillary Clinton's who I would have picked, because she was literally the most hated, the biggest name that you could think of that they could have a target. It was the biggest target in the world.
I don't know how, really, everybody we know pretty much that voted for Trump, why do they say they did? Because they weren't going to vote for her. Hillary.
Right.
Followed by Benghazi and emails.
I love that they think that she's a ninja in a pantsuit, but they don't want her to be president.
Right.
Wouldn't you want her to be president?
Yeah.
Like, she's badass, right?
Yeah,
like, she kills everybody.
Yes, she kills everybody.
I saw
and
a
if
meme
she
the other
did kill
day.
Everybody, wouldn't she be president?
I saw a meme the other day that was like completely not based in facts, and there was 101 comments underneath it. They were like, right on, about nobody has 56 friends that commit suicide.
Oh, God.
I'm like, no, either does Hillary, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You moron.
You idiots.
I mean...
That's that whole conspiracy theorist bullshit.
The other one was, when the Epstein thing was going on, right?
Yeah.
That was, like, hilarious to watch my right-wing friends try so hard to make him, like, Clinton cousin or, like, some close relation of the Clintons. When there's all this video of him dancing, or Trump doing the stupid dance, white guy with the overbite.
Well, I said, Clinton's a lot of things, Bill. But I don't see him as a pedophile.
Well, I mean, Hillary did run that thing out of the pizza place.
Well,
basement.
Right, there was that pizza sex
Pizzagate.
Yeah, Pizzagate. I actually said that not long ago to somebody. Oh, Chris Dwyer. Oh, I should have said last name. He'll know who I'm talking about.
Nah, he's Crystal.
I love Chris. But if we were talking about things, and I'm like, well, next you're going to bring up the pizza basement sex ring thing.
And now, there were people that totally believed it, and there were people that were like, the Steve guy that's connected with me that's always like way out of line.
Oh, my God.
I totally... So, like, I kind of feel bad. I don't want Steve to ever think, like... that I hate him or anything else, because I don't want him to be like mad at me because I feel bad for him either, but he's definitely got this like really, really one-sided crazy view of everything, and everything is he hates the Democrats, hates them with a passion. Mm-hmm. And listen, the way I look at it is this: both parties are not out for the middle class. Both parties are corporate owned, and they're going to look out for those people first, not us.
Yep.
Until we go to publicly funded elections where we can change who owns those people, it's never going to change.
It's never going to change.
Right, and that's both parties. But also, I think both parties, for the most part, there's probably some bad ones out there that are like, if I get involved in this, I can go ahead and, fleece everything for what I can get. But I think most of those people got into government because they were going to make a difference. They believed that the angle that they had was going to help people. Mm-hmm. Now, some things I don't get. I read a guy the other day that I commented. The fact that you wrote trickle down economics is just, that says it all. That just, like, you actually said trickle down economics. Like, we know from economic past that's not a thing. And if it was a thing, every corporation would hire people to shut those leaks off so there's no trickle effect at all, because their bottom line is they want all the goddamn money. Right. That's the idea behind a business. I get it. My take on that stuff is there's all kinds of the founding fathers that said if corporations get a hold of our government, we're doomed. So the government should be in a position to, if you showed up somewhere and you're an adult, you can handle a situation, and you showed up and there were people that were stealing little children, and then there was a bunch of little children, your job would be to protect the weak and the people who can't protect themselves.
Right. Your
job wouldn't be to help the shitheads get the children, you know what I mean? Like,
no.
So that's the government's job. The government's job should be to take care of the people who can't take care of themselves. It's not a fair fight. If Jeff Bezos tomorrow decided, this fucking Bill Gardner guy, I'm going to fuck him up, I'm fucked.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'll be buried in a hole somewhere and gone.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's got $140 billion. He will bury me under attorneys. Even if it wasn't murder, he would bury me somehow. Mm-hmm. So that's not fair. The government needs to be able to help the people on the bottom, because that's who needs the help.
Right.
So, anyways, to look at everything in this...
How did people of this country get so far away from that, though? So many, they look down on that.
Well, I think first there's a false equivalency or a correlation that says that if you have money, you have intelligence. That's not true.
Oh, it's not true at
There's
all.
all kinds of really dumb people that we grew up with that made plenty of money.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
So many business owners, they have a lot of money. They're not smart. They can't even construct a sentence or spell or anything.
Right,
I mean, no. Having money does not equal.
I believe that there's a lot of people that they okay. So I think there's a lot of people that I don't know if they just don't have time or what, but they do the easy route, right? So if you're a politician and you're pointing at the Bible all the time, they go, he's a good person. He has a Bible in his hand. Mm-hmm. That's easy. All you had to do is pick up that thing and act like he was doing this.
Right.
And he's sold you on he's a good person. He's morally got the high ground. It always turns out that guy is screwing teenagers and putting his foot underneath the stall at the airport trying to get blowjobs, whatever he's trying to do. But so that's just the easy route. The same thing is to collate intelligence with financial success. It's to say he must be smart because he's got all this money and I'm not dumb and I don't have any money. Well, wait a minute.
It's the same as
a situation where
you must be lazy.
Right. Oh, right. That's the other one, right? And the problem is this: if I sent my boys to Harvard, I would be more interested in who they met there, connection-wise, than what they learned there, because I think that's going to take you further. If that's what your goal is to go somewhere, the people you meet are the people that are going to help you get further than what you're going to know. There's all kinds of super smart people that Einstein didn't die with any great amount of money. Tesla died broke. These are intelligent people that died with no money. The guy that invented penicillin gave it away.
Right.
I mean, he could have been one of the wealthiest people on the planet and gave it away.
Yeah.
So, and then my other take on it, and party doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I wish people could start to understand that it doesn't matter. I think there's some people out there that hear that and they go, yeah, that's right. But I still really hate the Democrats. There were Trumpsters wearing shirts that said, I'd rather be with Russia than the Democrats.
Yeah, I know.
That's another country that doesn't like us. That's another country that absolutely, listen.
They would wipe us off of the planet.
And for good reason, to be honest with you. We not because we're bad, but we are in competition for resources on the planet. If you're that country, you want the oil from that country.
Right.
We want the oil from that country. If you know what I mean. So you're in competition with those people. If you open a store that sells greeting cards and another guy opens a store 4 doors down that sells greeting cards, you're not a bad person if you want that store to go under because you want to sell the greeting cards.
Right.
So it makes sense.
But
to side with a foreign country over
befriend dictators. And he's
makes no sense.
Murderers.
Right.
You get in their way, you're dead. That's a real thing. That's not a conspiracy theory.
No. There's journalists he poisoned, straight up, for sure.
Yes, I mean, but they hate Hillary, but not Putin. These are things I don't understand.
Right. I do understand it. If you watch Fox News.
Well, yes.
Listen,
but
I think some of those people spend a lot of time on that, just watching that constantly, and they're like, we've got to do something about this. These Democrats are really out to ruin our world and everything else. The one that drives me nuts is we can't save the environment because of jobs. Dude, there's no planet, there's no jobs. So
that's dumb.
And you're not saving the earth because the earth ain't going anywhere. It's your ass that's going somewhere when everything gets all fucked up. And that's the other one so it'll take too much time. It'll be all fucked up. But we went from global warming as a hoax, it doesn't exist at all. It's not happening, to it's happening, but it's not man-made, sort of a thing. Listen, I'll just say that I'll agree with you. Okay, fine. It's happening. It's not man-made. But there's 7 billion of us on the planet now. Can't we do something? So we know for fact the planet's getting warmer. This year is the hottest year on record now. This year is. The next 4 years that go back. It's 16, 17, 18, and 19 are the warmest years. That's a fact. That's a global fact.
It is.
That's going on. We also know that the planet holds heat due to the amount of CO2 in the air. So if you have a planet, not Earth, that doesn't have CO2, then as soon as the sun's not on it, the heat disperses. It's like the desert, right? So this is science. We understand that. So let's say it's not
in science.
Right. Well, let's say it's not man-made, but let's also say that we better do something about it, or we're going to. They just did that like funeral for the glacier that's totally gone. And
like maps are going to need to be redrawn because these glaciers are just melting and breaking off.
Right. But that's actually happening. But I still see. So that is something that's actually factually happening, whether you like it or not. That's what's happening. But I will see people post memes about there's actually more ice in Antarctica right now than there was 20 years ago. And it's just not true. Somebody made a meme,
it's the
put it on social media.
Same person that said when it was 30 below zero, what happened to global warming?
I know, right.
It's cold outside.
Right, that's why. I mean, there's popsicles in my freezer, so there's no global warming. I have whiskey in my cup, so there's no hunger or whatever. I don't know.
Right, I don't know.
Right.
I don't get it. Mm. And how about the Amazon?
Burning. Well, I paid a little bit of attention to that. It seems like the South Americans are letting that happen. They don't even want aid. They offered them like 22 million or 22 billion. I don't know what it was.
But I think it's I don't know his name.
The Brazilian.
Who doesn't like Macron, however you say it. So, and that is who offered it, after the G7 summit, they came
Macron,
together.
they're French.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there's some little issue there. But so we're going to let the rainforest just burn away because of some
they
little
were saying
feud
that,
they have?
Right, but they were saying that every time you take 5 breaths, one of them is
it's like the lungs of the earth.
Right. That's
yes.
Now I don't quite understand that and everything else. And when I go outside in my yard, there's plenty of green stuff and nothing's on fire. But that does not mean the Amazon's not burning. That does not mean that we're not going to exasperate this situation. My thing is listen, if you want to take the human element out of it, that's fine. If you feel and conservatism used to be that we were the shepherds of this situation, but that's gone now. So I just don't, some of it I don't understand. The other one that I don't get, so a lot of my right-wing friends keep going to Facebook jail, right? They keep getting booted. I've never been to Facebook jail.
I haven't either. My aunt has been twice in the last month. She's not a right-winger by any means.
Right. Okay.
But she has twice. She's in Oregon. Big.
And she's been in there twice.
Twice, the last month.
Do you know what she posted?
No, I don't know this time because I haven't. She's still in jail. But the time before, it was something about Trump.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like.
But what? I guess
Trump. I forget exactly what the wording was. I'd have to look it up on her Facebook too. But I'm like, oh my God, I say stuff like that almost daily.
And that's what got thrown her. Okay, so
I don't know if it's someone reporting her.
Right. Now I've seen some of the stuff that the right wingers are getting thrown in Facebook jail for, right? And the big, I don't know of any left wingers, and maybe they could say something to me on Facebook if they have, because I just don't pay attention to it that much. Even the right wingers, but a couple of my right wing friends, like Andy, I think Andy actually has to go make a fake account now because that's it. He's got all the strikes he could get. They've lifetime ban.
What does he post that gets him?
There was one where he used the N-word in a joke, and then
do people
I don't know exactly.
Him?
I think that's how it's got to be. Andy thinks that they're just watching him, which they could be too. I don't know, but okay. But conservatives feel like that they're being targeted. Mm-hmm. They feel like Google and Facebook and Instagram all have a bias towards the left, and I disagree.
I disagree too.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like maybe your ideology has more inclination to say shitty, dickish things.
Yeah, maybe it's more destructive.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did not agree with Kathy Griffin with the cut off head of Trump and everything else, but she was a comedian and stuff, and we knew it wasn't Trump himself. She didn't actually plot to kill him, but I thought she was an idiot for doing it. That's dumb. Just don't do stuff like that. That is the president, whether you like it or not. And it almost, I think there's almost a disconnect when if somebody was in a coma for 5 years and you woke them up and said Donald Trump's president, they'd laugh at you. They'd be like,
God, yeah.
no fucking way. Mm-hmm. And he does do so much. Like that's one of the things I love about it too. Boy, like late night TV, it's all super funny now because like he just does some of the dumbest.
SNL. I mean,
SNL.
They don't even need any.
Well, did you see the thing
writers.
with the G7 that he went there and the reporter asked him, "How come you didn't attend the climate meeting that just happened?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to it later." He didn't know it had already happened. You know what I mean? Like he missed it. Whatever. My thing is that it's really not like everybody's allowed to do dumb stuff. I've done plenty of dumb stuff, but.
Okay, but you're not the president of the United States.
Right.
You are not the leader of the free world.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Do we not hold the president to a higher standard?
Yeah, I think he's at least got to be able to read and then
complete a sentence.
Complete sentences. He should be able to know how to spell at least his own name, which he's actually misspelled his own name before.
Mm-hmm. Maybe hamburger.
Hamburger.
A lot. I mean, he should know geography. He should know foreign policy.
He should also know that you can't say stuff like shithole countries.
Yeah, and you just shouldn't, or you should insult your Congress.
Well,
because you disagree with them because they're a woman or because they're brown.
Did you see the Scaramucci stuff? That he actually is full-throated, like, once Trump gone.
Yes.
And do you know what his line was?
No.
When Trump came out against Trump sided with Israel against the Squad.
Yes.
And he goes, and he was right.
The night before he was on Bill Maher and didn't.
Oh, that Bill Maher shit. He's a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I can't even stomach Bill Maher anymore.
I love Bill Maher.
Oh,
but he was on.
I can't even. His only mindset in all of this is that Trump has to go. I don't even need Trump to go.
Oh, I don't know if that's true.
Oh yeah, he's full-throated for Biden. Full-throated. It has to be Joe Biden because Joe Biden, he's saying things that when it's said, I just don't even, like, do you believe, I mean, and everyone's got their own opinion, do you believe that Biden is our best chance to beat Donald Trump?
No, I don't even know who is. I honestly think he'll win again.
Oh, well, okay, so here's my take on that. I'm not upset about that.
No, because of your theory of, just let it get as bad as it can get.
It's got to get as bad as it's got to get, and here's the other thing. The economy is going to go up, it's going to go down. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. And he has exasperated every lever that you can to like put the brakes on this thing from running into the ground.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go to a full-blown recession.
Right. He has nothing that can stop it. So he can do all this fucked up shit with the economy right now, like propping it up. The minute that he leaves and we take all the stakes out of it, and there's a Democrat in office, so, Bernie Sanders becomes president. And then all the props come out and the economy fucking crashes, they're going to go, see, this guy did it.
We already just had this happen.
It happened a little early, but...
But I'm just talking, Obama took over in a recession. What did he have to do? Rebuild it. Not because of the same things Trump's doing, but because we got ourselves into a war, blah, blah, blah.
Similar things. And, the banking industry still...
Yes, we bailed out
I'm a real estate broker, and... Well, it's not the bailout problem. It's the way that we did it. So we were giving all these loans to people who couldn't afford homes to begin with, right? So we were giving them all loans. And then, like, I see loans happening.
What those were like balloon mortgages.
No, we're back to no docs.
Yeah.
Like a no document loan now. You can go in, as long as you have a good credit score, you can, without showing any income, nothing, you can get a loan for a house now, which is how we got into these situations to begin with.
That's how we had the big housing crisis.
I believe there's a place for a no-doc loan. There's a lot of tradesmen out there that make a lot more money than they show on paper, and their borrowing power is not the same. That's the knife that you're playing with, right? If you want to hide your money and not pay taxes, then I guess you don't have to borrow.
And I guess you don't get to buy the nicer house.
Right. Unless you can hide enough to buy that house outright.
Right, unless you can pay cash for it. Right,
because that's how we crashed the economy.
Or pay taxes.
That's the other. And that's another one too. Like, so, I want every president to show their tax returns. But no Trump supporter can ever say anything about that again.
No, they cannot.
Right. So, I mean, that's another whole thing. It's gone. You can never...
No, you can never, ever ask for another candidate.
And you can never, ever make one comment about somebody's lifestyle.
Nope.
This man has 3 baby mamas. He has cheated on every single wife
family
he's
values
ever had.
Out the window.
Gone.
The party of family values.
Right. It's all
It's
right,
gone.
It's all finished.
I don't know what they're the party of now. There's that. There's I lost my train of thought.
Just
I don't know what the hell I was going to say.
Right. There's just all kinds of real estate that they've given up as far as, following Trump off a cliff with this stuff. So, like, to me, that's all fine. If he gets reelected, like, I'm certain we're due for a downturn at some point. There's Republicans I know that are like, yeah, it just doesn't keep going forever. There were people that were mad that when Obama was in office, the economy was on the rise, but it wasn't rising fast enough. And I was like, listen, this is exactly what you want. You don't want it to go like this, because if it goes like this, sooner or later it pops, and then everything goes back down. So if we could just keep it like this, everybody could make a living, everybody could keep it going, and just do better and better and better. We could go like this, as long as you can take
slow and steady.
Isn't that how, but we need 2 lines on that graph.
Better?
Right, you need the line of corporate America on the graph, and then you need the line of middle class America and what wages are doing. Because for the longest time, wages were flat and corporate America is like this.
Right.
And people are gauging the economy on that. And that's nonsense. Like,
No,
that's
it's
not
complete nonsense.
that's not the way most people don't make their money like that. Most people work for a living, and then you need your wages to go up as well.
Right. As they should.
Right. No, for sure. So the squad thing where he sided, or didn't even side, he just said to Israel, don't let them in. Okay, besides being American citizens, those are American citizens. You just told a foreign country, don't let these people in your country because they don't like you. And then you also have to add in the factor that these are elected officials. These are people that were elected by their
constituents,
which are Donald Trump's constituents too, because he's the president of the United States.
Yes.
And so, like, that's not the will of the people or any of that kind of stuff. The other one that drives me nuts is the Electoral College. I see no reason for that at all. And I have not yet. I've read through all kinds of arguments, like, for it. And the argument is always that the big cities will tell the country what to do. It's not really true, because there's all kinds of cities that are conservative cities as far as that goes. I mean, you got cities in Texas, you got cities everywhere else, and like each person has representation. Why does a guy who lives in Wyoming they have 660,000 people in Wyoming, you get 2 senators. Now, Bill Maher's right about that, but watching Bill Maher root for a certain, like, whatever Democrat he thinks. I think Bill Maher's a guy who lives in a world where he doesn't really have any problems himself, so all he wants is his team to win. I don't give a shit about the Democrat-Republican thing. I look at this as an opportunity. I think Trump's a weak candidate. I think that there's all kinds of things that are like Scaramucci type stuff that people have been chipped away on. There were plenty of Republicans that were chipped away on the Roy Moore stuff. You full-throated backed a pedophile. Yeah. You full-throated backed a guy to be one of 100 U.S. senators. You backed a guy who's banned from a mall.
Yeah.
You can't go in the mall, but you would like him to go to Congress, or to go to the Senate. That makes absolutely no sense at all. And there were Republicans who were chipped away on that. That's all. So they say that he could lose the popular vote again, which he probably will. Probably. But they said he could lose 5 million votes this time and still win the Electoral College.
Well, I really think the Democrats are a lot to blame. We can't get all of us under the same tent. We have a problem. We get hung up on the perfect candidate. Yeah. And listen to what people say. I'm not saying you or I, but I read, in these forums that read different things.
Shouldn't we want the perfect candidate? Shouldn't that be the goal?
Does a perfect candidate exist right now? Or is any Democrat better than Trump?
Any Democrat? Okay, so I'll be voting for anybody but Trump. I will be doing that. That's going to happen. And I think most people that don't want I don't think he's fit to have the nuclear codes. No. I don't think, right? I mean, this guy seems to love despots and like Jim Kuhn. Like, these are all bad people.
Yes,
I mean, these are all people. Really, really bad people.
Murderous dictators.
Yeah, he likes them better than he likes Macron. He likes them better than he likes, who's the meme that I'm seeing all the time is Melania lovingly looking at
that's the Canada.
Canadian, Prime
Minister.
His name is. And it's so funny.
Yes, because he's young and good looking.
Right.
Yeah, but
so there's all these pictures of her like.
Well, it's the next thing he's going to insist on a northern border wall.
Right, I saw the meme for that. It's funny.
But yes, to answer your question, we should be able to have the perfect candidate. But I don't think in 2020.
Maybe take perfect out.
I think down the road.
Shouldn't we always be? We're always doing this lesser of two evils thing. Shouldn't we do the best we can do?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, listen.
That's different than the perfect candidate. But everybody seems to have this where, you voted for this one time. I can't back you.
Okay, let's take that.
You have ties to this person, maybe from somewhere in their past, so I can't vote for you. Well,
let's run with that. Let's run with that sort of thing. Okay, when it comes down to it, those people will still vote. Now, will they vote? So say the person you can't vote for is Kamala Harris, right? Because Kamala's got, I don't know if you know, but she's got some bad stuff on her prosecution background that she put a lot of people in jail for pot and stuff like that, and then was on some radio saying that she smoked pot, listened to Tupac and everything else.
Yeah.
But there's people that she ruined their lives over some joints and stuff like that, right? So say that's your stance. You can't vote for Kamala Harris because of her position at this or at one time, whatever like that. But then the general comes, and it's either her or Trump. Don't you think they vote for her anyway?
Did they vote for Hillary?
I think that they did. She won by 3 million votes.
I don't know.
The turnout wasn't terrible for that election as far as that went. She got 3 million, so many more.
She didn't win.
Well, it was 70,000 of the right votes that she didn't win by, right?
Well,
what I'm saying is, if your mindset is okay, so
and it's not me.
Put you in charge of the DNC. You're in charge of the DNC, and your only objective is win the election, right? So right now you don't have a candidate. Your the object of your game is make the next president a Democrat. And you're looking at the field of voters, right? And you need to get as many people to vote for your candidate as possible, because that's how you win by attrition. Who do you have to win over? The people who just hate Trump?
No.
They're going to vote for anybody but Trump.
Right. I think you need to get the other voters. You really do.
Who are the other voters?
You need to get to the voters who didn't vote at all in the last election.
Okay.
Or who chose to write in a third-party candidate.
Who's that voter? Who's the voter who didn't vote at all?
What do you mean?
Well, how do you target them? Who's that voter? What do you think that they're like? Because I think there's people that looked at Hillary and Trump and said, no fucking way, I'm going to just stay home or vote for, There were. I mean, I think on the left we have those that were diehard Bernie people and then couldn't vote for Hillary because... I was phone banking for Bernie.
So I canvassed for him.
But I voted for Hillary.
So did I. But there's a lot that didn't. I don't really know why. They
either
wrote in Bernie or they went third party because they didn't care for Hillary or they...
I felt there were people that vote. There's a crossover for a lot of people that like the boyfriend, who would have voted for Bernie but then voted for Trump.
Yeah.
But
I personally don't understand that.
No, really, I thought it was to throw the wrench in it.
I know that. Yeah. Except they were so opposite on what they wanted to do.
No. The tariff stuff, that's Bernie.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be caging babies. We wouldn't be. There's so many things, and all these things were red flags before he was.
Yeah, elected. But a country boy could definitely look away on the racist stuff.
Well,
for sure.
Uninformed people, I think.
Right.
I mean, the red flags were there.
Right, but I mean, if you have, my thing is if you have voters that would have voted for Sanders but voted for Trump because Sanders wasn't available, right? So they voted for Trump.
There's a wild card.
If this time you ran, every time that you take a vote from column A and you put it in column B, it's 2 votes.
Yes.
Right? So if you ran I'm not saying to run Sanders this time. I believe he's too old. I believe they're all too old. I do. Well, okay. Let me disclaim that because Trump's just as old.
Yes.
He's made up to not look that old or whatever.
He's sprayed orange.
Right. And Elizabeth Warren's just about that old too. So they're all really, really old. But like weird things, like did you see Bernie playing softball?
No.
He's hitting the ball out there. He's catching the ball. He's doing all this stuff. Oh, we're late night tonight. The tank shut off on us here. The lights here, they go off at 10 o'clock.
Do they? Oh.
Yeah, which is fine. It's totally good. But so, like when you look at Sanders, age is a chronological age, but it's totally different. If you're a person that's probably going to live to be 95, or you're a person that's going to be living to 65,
right.
At 60, you're not the same age because you've got 5 more years and you're done.
Right.
So like Sanders is a very young, whatever he is,
yes,
70.
I believe that about Elizabeth Warren as well. They just seem healthy on top of their game.
Sure, right. But I mean, he was pitched a ball, and I know men are my age who would miss that ball, and he hit it out to the outfield.
Bernie.
He was pitching the next thing, and he was like, they threw him the ball, he caught it like behind him, and like it was like,
That's
oh my
awesome.
God, what in the world? So now, if Sanders is the nominee, I'm canvassing again. I'm phone banking. I'm there working to make him president because I believe in that guy. I really do.
I really do too.
But if I'm the DNC and I look at it and I say, all right, listen, I want to get the most people to vote for my candidate that's going to be my candidate, then I have to go with the guy who excites more people. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Warren is pulling big numbers at her rallies. Joe Biden is not. Joe Biden, did you see what Joe Biden said? You might not be that excited about Joe, but he can beat Trump. That was the whole thing. Listen, if your only objective is to beat Trump, Biden's not the right guy.
No, but I think you have to have more of an objective than just that, don't you? I mean,
absolutely. I think that's the problem with Biden, is what I'm saying. Have you heard anything that Biden is running on?
I have not paid attention to a lot of stuff lately.
Okay. But I mean, there's no platform that Biden has that anyone's talking about.
No.
Like, I don't know anyone that's excited.
I was reading.
I mean, Hillary Clinton.
He doesn't even have like a platform for like gun control. That's not even on his website. Unless it recently came out. I don't know if this is true or not, but I could have swore that he got caught on an open mic for millionaire and billionaire donors, and he said, "Don't worry, nothing's going to change." Oh, really? He said that. So to me, there's a whole mess of voters that's going to disqualify him in any way. And then if you look at, so there's some Facebook forums that I'm on, that if you look at them, they are doing the purity test, I guess, that you're talking about, but they're more or less saying Joe Biden is a corporate Democrat and we don't want a corporate Democrat. Listen, I don't want a corporate Democrat. I don't. What I want is someone who's going to do the best job for the people, not the rich people, not just the 1%. Do we have one out there?
No.
I mean,
no.
Well,
Bernie
Bernie
is that guy.
Even Elizabeth Warren.
No. Actually, I think that they came out with a list of, I think Buttigieg had the most billionaires like backing him, and that's a homosexual guy, like
of South Bend.
Right. Well, Indiana doesn't surprise me a bit. That's definitely not that he's homosexual, that he's not as far left as you would hope, because that's where you're at. You're in Indiana. You can't be that far left.
Right.
But my thing with it is, the only thing that I see exciting, so Hillary ran, right? And Bernie at that 4 years ago or 2.5 years ago was like $15 minimum wage. And Hillary gets on and goes, we can't do that. It's going to have to be like $12. That's not exciting.
No.
Right? You're not inspiring anyone. No one looks at that and goes, oh, if I could just get $12 an hour, then I could. No, you can't. You can't make a living that way. You can't afford the rent. So all I'm saying is you have the people. It's just like the base thing. I believe Donald Trump's biggest mistake is pandering to the 32% that are going to vote for him no matter what. Those people are going to vote for him no matter what. They're either super Trumpsters or they just hate Democrats so much they're going to vote for whoever.
Yeah, well, he feeds into their hatred of anything, of brown people, of Democrats, of Hillary, of whatever. I mean, that's what he feeds, and they just eat it up. So
if I'm the DNC,
spew something to them, once every couple months, and he's got their vote. Right.
If I'm the DNC, I need to appeal to, like you said, the other voters. So I need to find issues.
Young voters.
Yeah, how's Biden? He's like, isn't Biden like 80?
Is he 80?
I don't know. He's really old. I mean, Joe Biden is not a young man.
No, he's not young.
Oh my God. I mean,
is he older than Bernie?
No, I don't think he's older. Well, like I said, the chronological thing and the.
Because Bernie's not 80.
Right. I have to ask.
Okay, yeah, do.
Age of Joe Biden.
Joe Biden is 76 years old.
76.
Okay.
And I think Bernie's older. I think he's 79 or something like that. But age of Bernie Sanders. My internet's so fast. It's awesome. So terrible. I'm getting new internet next week, and I'm so like I got AT&T internet.
Bernie Sanders is 77 years old.
77.
AT&T is horrible.
It's terrible.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. The upload. So most of the time everyone needs download, right? Because you're downloading TV. I'm a real estate broker. I need to upload photos. I need to upload things to the internet, and then this podcast. The YouTube one especially, it would take 14 hours to upload it to YouTube.
Jesus.
Because the upload speed for AT&T is 2 megabytes per second upload. I called Xfinity and I'm like, all right, you know what? Give me the speeds. You guys keep listing the download because that's what everyone's interested in. I'm interested in the upload. What is it? They're like 30. I'm like, 30? Like, I'm going to upload the entire podcast in 45 minutes. That was 14 hours before. And the download is 1,000. It's 1 gig, per second.
I have had Comcast forever. I mean, I can't even remember.
Yeah, that's Xfinity, same thing.
Yeah, I know. And that's why Comcast, because it's been Comcast forever.
Whatever, yeah.
So Mike and I live together, and he has AT&T.
Oh God, forget. Like, yeah, you gotta get rid
I
of that.
fucking hate it.
Right.
So we just got a new modem today. The AT&T sent us because I called it yesterday. We had it was the oldest thing. We couldn't even get Wi-Fi in the back. It's a ranch. It's not sprawling.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
The back room. I couldn't watch Netflix. Our phones couldn't stay on Wi-Fi. Nothing. It's all AT&T. With the new modem, it's better, but not great.
Get rid of that.
And the TV, the channel, everything's horrible. Like, they just didn't have CBS.
Well, I cut the cord and all that stuff, so mine's all Hulu and Netflix and all that other stuff. And I mean, I'm saving $100 a month as far as that goes. I think the thing that's most important, and I see even Bill Maher and stuff like that saying we've got to be in lockstep, and I believe there was millions and millions of women, including you and Jackie and stuff, that all marched, right? You did the ladies' marches and stuff like that. Multiple times. I think there's millions of people that have a flat-out hatred for Donald Trump. They want him gone. I don't think it matters who they run. They're going to vote for anybody but Donald Trump. So they're there.
Yeah.
Anybody. They don't care. The thing you need to do is you need to excite the young people. The Bernie Sanders came to U of I for a rally, and Eric Conkle went there to go to the rally. He was almost a half a mile from it in line. Couldn't get in there, no matter what,
That's how all of his rallies were insane. Right. He was packing the house everywhere.
And Hillary Clinton couldn't fill a gymnasium.
No, neither could Trump.
Right. And, well, if Trump went to the right spot.
Well,
send Trump to
everywhere
Arkansas.
Bernie went.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah, right. He was definitely, and my thing with Sanders was he was the guy that was taking the most amount of votes from Trump.
Yes.
Like, he was the other guy that was going to throw the wrench in it. And obviously...
He could have beat him, I believe. I think
oh,
the
my
DNC
God.
fucked us.
Yes,
royally.
right. And I think that there's a lot of Sanders voters that, like you're saying, the Bernie bros, and I don't know about a lot. Like, I think there was a lot of them that were so jaded by the fact that guy pretty much got cheated in the situation.
And he did.
Right. Well, he did. I mean, the head of the DNC became the head of the Hillary Clinton campaign, Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Yes.
And, it's a fact that they gave Hillary Clinton the questions for the debate, ahead of the debate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happened.
Yeah.
But my thing is if you get imagine a Warren and Sanders ticket together.
Oh.
Right. I mean, right now, even in the polls, their 2 percentages together are more than Biden's by itself. And you're talking about a completely different race. when I see somebody like Bill Maher talking about we have to do it the same way that the Republicans are doing it, we got to, lie. And I go, well, what makes us any different then? How are we different? You got to do it the right way and everything else, and you have it. I believe that there's definitely more people in the country that are good people than bad people.
I agree.
And there's definitely way more people that aren't racist that are racist.
Yeah.
The problem is the demographics. So old people vote. The old people definitely vote. So
Yes.
they come out in big numbers.
Yes, they do.
So, but then young people don't, and they have more of a stake in it than the rest of us do, because they got to save the damn planet, man.
Well, yeah, they do, or they're not going to have one.
Exactly. So, all this stuff that goes on, it's the demographics of the situation. Now, African Americans, they vote at a better clip than I'm sorry, but I'm going to blame middle-class white people that are too busy watching Dances with the Stars and taking pictures of their food and puppies and all this other nonsense.
No, it's true.
But you need to vote. You need to get out there and vote. And then I hate people that are on social media that are like complaining constantly about. Listen, you can have a cause that's not political. I understand that, but you got to pay attention to what the hell's going on here.
When people say, I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to, I
think they just don't want to hurt people's feelings and stuff like that.
No, I think it's like ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Right.
They don't want to be informed. They don't. Most of them, I don't know if they vote or they don't. And if they do vote, they're voting for probably whoever their husband or their father told them to vote for. And that, they don't use their own minds. And I'm just like, oh my God, how can you not?
It's so easy now, too. You could take, what was that, the last two presidential elections, I sent it out a bunch of times, that little survey that just asked you 35 questions, and then they tell you who you align with more. And then go vote. Go, there's a platform. Nowadays, everything's so accessible. Every single candidate, especially in the general election for a presidential election, has a platform. They've got where they are on the issues and everything else. Just go there and check it out. I think the problem you run into is I run into a lot of people who it's tribalism. They are like, well, I really don't know. I don't pay attention, but I'm sure I lean more towards the conservative Republican because and I wonder if those people still exist because they bought into Republican Classic where it was, I believe in God and all that kind of stuff. Where I don't know how you vote for Trump I spent 4 years in
I don't know how you vote for Trump if you have a mother or a sister or a wife or a conscience. I don't know.
He won uneducated or non-college educated white women. He won.
I know.
So they themselves voted for him
I don't
too.
Understand it.
Right. Well, now, don't you feel like there has to be... I know there's the hard ones. The ones, you got to take out all the people that we talk to on Facebook because those people are hardened, right? They're the women that are on there posting goofy Trump stuff constantly. They're never going to not vote for him. It doesn't matter if they killed their sister. If Trump killed their own sister, they would still vote for the guy. Right. She was an asshole. So they would still be in that camp. It's the other women that maybe looked at him and said, "Oh, I don't know how you felt about it, but how I felt about it. Hillary was not likable.
No, Hillary
She's
wasn't
not
likable.
a likable person. She was not relatable.
No.
She was nothing that anybody wanted. You also looked at it listen, these people, the elite in Washington, have been cheating us forever. Why would I elect another Bush or Clinton? The Republicans got it right in that one.
Hillary did do a lot of good things a long time ago. She really did. She did a lot for
I'm sure
underprivileged and women. She really was an advocate, and she did do some great things. But throughout the times, she's
to a certain extent, she called people super predators and stuff like that, and that's not. Just because you're African American doesn't make you a super predator. Because
no, I'm not saying she didn't do anything bad, but she did do some good. A lot of that was completely forgotten about because of the other things that have happened and things that have been said. And apparently because if your husband cheats on you and you stay with him, you're also a bad person.
Which I know plenty of right-wing women that have done exactly that.
Oh, my God.
In that situation. But it doesn't. I don't know if that's... I really think it's just straight up Clinton It's you've been programmed for. He was president for 8 years. So if you watched Fox News or they've been telling you how bad those people are forever.
Yep.
So like you couldn't. I don't think you could have picked a worse candidate. I really believe that.
No, you couldn't. They couldn't.
Whoever they run. Right now, the top three are Biden, Sanders, and Warren. Those are the top three in the polls. I think they did a Fox News poll where 5 of those, the top Democrats, beat Trump head to head. So I mean, I don't know. I feel. I was confident that Trump could win last time. I feel pretty damn confident that he can't this time. And if the economy takes a downturn, it's really going to be tough for him. That means nothing to me. Bill Maher lose his mind. Don't say shit like that. That does not mean don't go vote. That means.
See, when I listen to him, which it hasn't been real recently, but he's always pretty. I
catch every single one. Just because I disagree with what he says, I still want to hear it. But he's.
I haven't had TV. Because I live with Mike.
I think if you check out the last couple episodes. I have HBO now, so you can just watch whatever one you want.
Yes,
he is. I think if you get tunnel vision on just the one thing where I've got to get rid of Donald Trump, I think you lose.
Absolutely.
I think that you need, and I have tried to pay attention to what Joe Biden's saying. He's really only saying that he can beat Trump. That's all he's saying, and to me, that's a fault. You need. What are you going to do for LGBT? What are you going to do for those people? What are you going to do for that? What are you going to do?
Healthcare?
Right. What are you? Right. Well, Jill Biden said you may like some other candidate better on healthcare than Joe. They may have a better plan than Joe, but Joe will beat Trump. That's not a plan. That's not a plan. Right. That's not.
So once you beat Trump, what are you going to do?
See, now the cynic in me says you're going to look out for your corporate donors. And we're going to get fucked.
Yeah.
So I'm not down for Joe at all.
No, instead of just saying he'll beat Trump, what are you going to do if you beat Trump?
Right. Well,
really,
that's how Elizabeth Warren rose. That's how she rose in the polls. Her little slogan is, "I have a plan for that."
Yeah.
I have a plan for that.
Yeah.
Which that's what I want to hear. Have a plan.
And she does, and so does Bernie.
Yeah.
People started listening.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, did you? You said you haven't looked at stuff in a while, and you've been super busy on the cruise and everything else.
Yes, I read bits and pieces here and there, but.
Did you have a chance to look at the AOC's new Green Deal? She put out the brochure thing.
No.
For the new Green. Well, Bernie just put out a new Green Deal too.
You know what I saw? Well, something came up on my phone, but it was the Washington Examiner, so I didn't read it. About his.
Well, no one's jumped on Bernie, so I don't know what's in there as far as what they're upset about. But if you remember, they jumped all over AOC
I read
when she put out her thing, and her thing was
that was months ago though.
Oh God, 6 months ago. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
But all it was like a wish list of we'd like to get to zero emissions. We'd like to get to wind and solar.
People who read it and then said, you're going to ban aircraft.
Yeah, right. That's not even in there.
No, it was not in there. Right. If you actually read it,
yes, right,
you'd know.
Right. No, that is the problem. I don't think you're ever going to get around that. And I don't ever look at. I have very spirited conversations with my friends Andy and Tony and other guys like that. Even Joe, the attorney. We have conversations. I don't ever think that at the end of that conversation, Joe's going to be like, you know what? Might just vote for a Democrat. That's never going to happen.
No.
I don't worry about it either. That's not my objective. I'm not trying to get him to do that. I just want to have a conversation with him about what he thinks and then try and get to some baseline of facts. There's no changing the Donald Trump voter that's in the 32%. There's no changing them. That's
not.
it.
I won't. Well, no. There's not even.
And there's no changing
them.
And they're the exact same people to me as the 32% that'll vote Democrat, no matter what. I mean, Trump's the wild card.
Yes.
Because he's the bizarro Hillary Clinton, right? He's the most hated person on the Republican side. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of hated people on the Republican side. All you'd have to do to really make that ticket beautiful. It's
really hard to find someone to like.
Right.
But
all you have to do to make that ticket beautiful would be to put McConnell as his running mate.
Yes.
Because oh my God, that turtley bastard, he is so awful. It's unbelievable.
He is awful. But so is Pence.
Pence is Pence is like right now.
Well, Pence was like local awful. Yeah, McConnell is
right, national awful.
Yes,
and Pence has got no power right now. He's just the vice president,
puppet.
Right, but and I don't want that guy running for president. You know what I mean? Like I don't want. I think that if we ran into a situation where the economy took a hard downturn before the election, I think Trump walks away.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to be president of that situation. You're not going to handle that.
No.
So he just, goes away and whatever. But
oh God,
my thing is
right.
My thing is you need to elect somebody like. I think a Beto O'Rourke beats the shit out of Trump. Just being young, good looking, better spoken than Donald Trump.
Much better spoken.
Yeah, and everything else. And I don't even know. I know he's got some plans. Like I've heard some stuff, and he's been. I think the thing that I like about him is he's been straight up vocal about. Like he looked at the reporters and said, "Hey, you guys can't be standing for this. He can't say stuff that's racist like this, and you don't say because the El Paso, that's his hometown.
Yes,
the shooting happened there.
The shooting happened there, and then days later was the largest ICE raid in United States history.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. But that's wasn't planned or anything. But he did stand up again for that or against that. But
the ICE raid thing, I don't get
his problem is I think people look at him and his ties to like charter schools and his wife's ties to charter schools, and
there's a problem there. But the people that you're talking about, do you think that they'll vote for Trump?
No.
So like I don't that it's a non.
But I don't know that they'd vote for him if he was the guy on the ticket. These are the same people I think that wrote in Bernie.
I just don't see.
That's the
problem. You see people making that same mistake twice.
I've read people who are saying these exact things, and I'm like, stop bashing.
I haven't seen that. So you're seeing people that but bashing's one thing, but you're seeing people that are saying, if Joe Biden's the candidate, I'll vote for somebody else. Because I haven't seen that.
Not those exact words, no. But why Beto can't be the candidate, or why Joe can't be the candidate, or why this person can't be, and it's like picking apart. Well,
but isn't that what we're doing right now?
No, I'm saying what they're saying. I don't see that problem.
No. But there's people. I'm saying it. Is what I'm saying. But isn't that the process that we're in?
But no, I think that I actually think the opposite. If you have a candidate that you like, put them out there, or vote for them in the primary, and then who's ever on the ticket for the general, vote for them if we want to get Trump out. But push your candidate, quit knocking everybody else down.
But say you work for the Beto O'Rourke campaign, don't you put Beto ahead of everyone else?
Yeah, but can't you talk about him without, or even as a person that likes him, can you talk about why you like him instead of why you dislike everybody else?
You can definitely do that. Like, don't go negative on somebody else. But don't you have to do a side by side, line by line?
Yeah, well, you're going to compare.
Yeah, so don't you say Jill Biden said somebody may have a better plan on the healthcare than Joe, but Joe will beat Trump.
Comparing a platform to another or this or that, that's one thing. But I think this constant nitpicking apart, and I'm not saying you're doing it, it's things I've been reading.
Right.
Like somebody I know, my aunt posted something and this other one was like, no, he's a hard no. He's still tied to this. I'm like, you can't even give him credit for what he just said.
But is he a hard no? What I'm saying is it's a process. Aren't we in the part of the process where people can be hard-nosed, but then when the general comes, isn't your aunt going to vote for that person if it becomes that person?
Yeah, she was putting him up there, but she wasn't the one that was tearing him down. But
right. All I'm saying is I believe that most of these people, I think that they're hateful.
But these were the people that didn't vote for Hillary. These same group of people that I'm talking about.
Yeah, I get you. But that's before we had... Donald Trump was not what he was. Donald Trump was the reality TV star that, was just... No one really knew. There's so much.
Oh, I know.
And like I said, I love Donald Trump to be Donald Trump. Like, keep being Donald Trump. Keep saying these...
I hope enough people learn their lesson. I hope I'm wrong.
I don't think you're ever going to turn anybody against... So, okay. So I'm just trying to wrap my brain around how you're like working this. You can't say negative things about other Democrats, but when the general comes, you can say negative things about Trump, right?
Yeah, I suppose. But
I'm just saying the process is,
as Democrats, we've been so torn. Everybody has been so torn apart. Look at the whole Bernie Hillary thing. Like Democrats there was infighting going on, a lot of it. So now, should we continue that, or should we all kind of look for, okay, we're going to vote for whoever we vote for in the primary. We're not going to bash everybody, now, because what happened is they bashed Hillary. Then when she became the candidate, well, how can you vote for her?
Sure. Now, do you remember what Jill Stein pulled in the general?
No.
It's 3%.
Yes. That,
so
I
who
know
cares?
What you meant. Right. Well, but if you get all these people who vote for these third party or who don't vote at all,
but you have to look at the analytics of that. The 3% she pulled was all on the coasts. If she pulls 3% in Illinois, who cares? Hillary still won Illinois. She didn't. If you look at the analytics of it, Jill Stein did not change that election.
I'm not blaming third-party voters for the election.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. So I try to look deeper at it, like the third party. Now, do you think Jill Stein, I've heard nothing from her.
No.
I don't think she'll even run this time,
no,
right?
No, didn't a lot of shit come out about her after the election?
I don't know, but what I'm saying is there's always going to be people, and it's a free country, you can do whatever you want. I guess my objective is... there's an upside to Trump winning. There's totally an upside to him winning. If he wins a second term and it goes down in flames, which it
has to.
Listen, we believe he shouldn't be president because it goes down in flames, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want him to be president because I think he's bad for the country, same as you. Right? So if he wins another term, that means he gets 5.5 more years left of his term, right? Mm-hmm. I cannot imagine how a guy he doesn't act like a guy who wants to win a second term right now. If he doesn't even have a third term that he can run for, how does he act then? Like a complete maniac.
Oh, yeah.
As far as that goes.
Well, look at the things going on. Totally misappropriating funds.
Well, look at the...
When did that become okay? How are people still supporting this? We are taking money from disaster relief funds so that they can build more detention centers so that we can continue caging babies and other people that are coming here for help. What in the fuck are we doing? And we're people. But we just said earlier, what his percentage rating with the Republicans is still in the 90-something percentile. How?
Because that's a statistic that doesn't matter. That's like in baseball, a pitcher's wins doesn't matter.
Well,
his ERA matters way more than
they're not turning away from him.
They're only 32% of the voting population. You can't win with that.
No, but he has other people too.
When you do things like that, don't you think that you chip away at moms that are maybe in the middle?
You would hope.
So my thing is, let him keep doing these things. I know that there's people getting hurt. Like, it's not very empathetic of me to say that because there's children getting hurt.
Let it get as bad as it can possibly get because these are the people who don't think about other people. These people have to get directly hit.
You know who Anthony Scaramucci is, right?
Yes.
Give me 2 words to describe Anthony Scaramucci. I go
office rocker.
I go douchebag.
Yeah,
just douchebag. Like he's totally a douchebag. Mm-hmm. He's completely like everything about him. He's got the fucking suit on. He's a fucking douchebag, right? Like I don't even know how else to describe him besides you're a fucking douchebag. So that guy has already turned on Donald Trump. So how many people, if you've got 32% and 32%, you've got the whole middle, right? You've got another 33%, 36% in the center. Mm-hmm. They can go either way. Now, the ones that are real close to the right are going to go to the right still, and the ones that are real close to the left are going to go to the left still. Mm-hmm. But the ones in the middle, you're going to chip away at. Donald Trump didn't put any babies in cages before he was elected.
No.
So he's already losing people in that situation. So I don't mind like I mind that he does it for the humanitarian part, but the other part loses him elections. They can point to the economy all they want to. The facts are the economy is in no greater shape now than it was when Obama was at the end of his presidency. No. And that's just facts. That's just what it is.
It is.
Had a discussion with a buddy of mine that had money in the stock market, and we were looking through it all. on a percentage, which is all you can gauge when you have money in the stock market,
Right.
how you're doing, his money did better for him when Obama was president than it did when Trump's been president. He just has more money in there because of all the time that Obama was president. It snowballed up, and now he's making more, which is great. But his perception before we went through it all, looking at the data, was that he was doing way better when Trump was president. And this guy's not even a right winger. So my thing is that in the whole election, and to me this is a really important conversation to have with people, because I think they're blinded by their hatred for Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So they'll take whatever. So the election happens. We make Joe Biden the candidate, and Joe Biden wins. Are we satisfied that Trump's just gone? Because I'm not. There's problems in this country. There's problems with our education system. There's problems with our healthcare system. There's problems that we have with the way that we spend so much money on defense.
Yes.
So Joe Biden doesn't have a plan for any of that stuff.
We have a gun problem. We have an immigration problem. We have all kinds of problems.
Right. Well, we also do have a mental health problem in this country.
We absolutely have a mental health problem.
But we have a problem with people that have mental health problems getting guns.
Yep.
So
But the
my
mental
thing
health
is
problem
that
also falls under our
we spent
healthcare system.
Right. We spent all this energy though getting Joe Biden elected, and then nothing changes.
Right.
We just wasted the biggest opportunity you could have. Yes. Listen, when
I don't think nothing had changed, but not as on a scale that we want to see it change.
I think all you do is stop it from changing.
We're going to stop caging babies.
We're going to stop changing it in the wrong direction and start maybe making incremental changes in the right direction. I think that there's people that don't have time to wait for incremental change in the right direction.
No.
Joe Biden wants to keep Obamacare. Obamacare is a joke. Obamacare was the free market. What drives me nuts is we can't get a baseline of facts. Obamacare was the free market, Republican, the Heritage Foundations, Romney Care. This was their solution to the healthcare crisis in this country, and it's a fucking crisis. If you look at the last 20 years, the cost of healthcare has gone exponentially. It's gone through the roof.
Yep.
So their solution was we insure more people, we put more people in the pool, a couple other things where we could trade across state lines, but that has been proven not to solve the problem as far as that goes. But this is the free market, you buy insurance solution, and Joe Biden's for making that better. I'm not. That needs to go. This is the dumbest thing. We can't have a for-profit healthcare system in this country.
No.
It needs to be for patients, not for profit.
Yeah, because the
fact
that
we got to clarify that, because we're on a
profit off of the sick in this country.
Right, but we're on a podcast, so we need to do deeper. That's a one-liner. The not-profit. That's not saying, I'm not in any way saying that if you're a doctor, you don't make a living doing healthcare.
But insurance companies shouldn't control things.
When a Republican hears me say that, what they hear is, that's Bernie Sanders socialism.
Oh, I know.
And no one's going to make any money. We're all going to work for the state. That's not what I'm saying in any way, shape, or form. What I'm saying is the healthcare cost needs to be reeled in, and the first thing that you can do is take the insurance company out of the equation.
Take them out.
They're making 32% of the money on healthcare. That's a middleman that just needs to go away.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were given...
Their CEOs are making billions of dollars.
Well, altogether. But the CEO for Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think, made $59 million last year. Now, I don't care what you're doing for a job. Nothing's worth $59. Nothing's worth every Friday. There's $1 million sitting there. There's nothing worth that.
No.
And that money is directly where your healthcare cost is going to this guy's job.
Is.
So, but just to be clear, when I say we need a non-for-profit healthcare system, I mean the same thing as we need non-for-profit schools. The teacher who works in the school, the janitor who works in the school, those people all still make a living.
Yes.
But the person that owns the school doesn't make a whole buttload of money just for owning the school.
Right.
The same thing with prison. There should not be for-profit prison. That's a very bad idea.
That's a horrible idea.
Right, we know that, but so my problem is we could sit here until midnight tonight and I could come up with a million different things that are a terrible idea. And I don't think Joe Biden changes most of those things.
No.
And they're terrible, terrible ideas that ruin lives and keep this country in the basement as far as leading the world on anything. Listen, if we want to lead the world, you need to spend more on education than we do on defense. We need to spend more on building the country than destroying other countries.
Isn't that just common sense?
Right, but if we don't, there's this opportunity that we have to put. There's a reason why 16 Republican candidates ran last cycle, because they looked at the situation and said, oh, Hillary Clinton's totally a vulnerable, terrible candidate. I'm going to be president. Jeb thought he was going to be president for sure.
Oh yeah.
They all thought they were going to be president, right? I mean, Ted Cruz fucking ran for president. He thought he was going to be president of the United States.
I know.
Right? Hilarious. The exact same thing. There's 25 Democrats running because they look at Trump like he's vulnerable.
Yeah.
This is our chance. I'm going to be president. All I'm saying is, if we have a really good chance of there being someone besides Trump being president, I want someone that's going to change something for the better of the people. I don't want to waste it on Joe Biden, who might not, he's an old man. That man might not live through 2 terms of a presidency. And I don't trust a Joe Biden with who he's going to have as a running mate. Yeah. Hey, I'm not picking him apart. I promise you, I'll be voting for Joe Biden.
Oh, if he was in the general.
If he's in the general. I understand that. But today, my job is to pick the candidate first that I think will do the most good for the country, because that's what we're supposed to be doing.
I didn't say otherwise.
Right? No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you where my head's on it.
I agree.
And secondly, that I believe has a better chance than Joe Biden does to beat the president of the United States today. And I only believe that happens when you have somebody like Elizabeth Warren who says, I got a plan for that. And someone's like, oh, that plan would totally bail me out. That plan would be the plan that would help me out. If she would do that,
yeah,
I'm usually not a Democrat, but I'm going to vote for her because that's the voter you need.
Right.
The 32% that are Democrats, you don't need those voters. Don't pander to those people.
No, they need to be going outside the box.
Yes, right. Because there's so much more outside the box.
There is.
You've got 32 and 32, and then you're looking to try and split up that middle. That middle of the pie is all of it. That's the game right there. So I'm not trying to convince you of anything, but that's where my mind's at on it. You need somebody who's going to make excitement. You need someone that's going to fill gymnasiums. Hillary Clinton couldn't fill a high school basketball court. No. So that was the problem in the situation. Yeah. So I mean, as far as all that goes, that's where I'm at on it. And I need people to. I need to do a podcast one time with someone who would just sit down, and we could talk about what a democratic socialist is. That's why I can't do Facebook anymore.
My God!
I look at Facebook and it's like, listen, you're saying communism.
I had a friend it was some stupid meme, and it was being against socialism because he likes, to have shoes or it was something stupid like that.
Right.
And then, I'm like, oh my God. Do you not know the difference between socialism and democratic socialism or communism?
Here's what a Republican
says.
And
this other person comes in and he's like, I think I'm old enough to know the difference, but, I go to work every day and so does my wife. We have everything that we need. I'm sorry, what the hell did they have to do with anything we were just talking about?
Listen, nothing is free. We all understand nothing is free. But also, if we're going to say nothing's free, aircraft carriers aren't free either. Tanks aren't free either.
Exactly.
Jets aren't free either. None of that stuff's free. But we don't ever question when it comes to cost for that.
But people are just dense.
Right. So here's what a Republican always says when someone says there's a difference between democratic socialist and a socialist or a communist. They always say, well, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
That's not historically true. Mao came in and said, this is what it is, and if you don't like it, I will fucking kill you. That's how it worked. It wasn't like we just snuck in with some public schools and then all of a sudden we owned all the businesses.
Right.
That's not how it went.
No, and you fools do realize, right, that we do live in an already socialist society. I mean,
well, we live in a society that's got socialist aspects.
Yes.
And if you're a smart person, you need to pick and choose what works and what doesn't work. When we look at the prison system, the for-profit prison doesn't work.
No, it's
that
horrible.
does not work.
It's horrible.
Right. It's a bad situation. It's a bad situation made worse by they look at it and go, all right, we got these people in prison. we're going to cut all the meals down to these shit meals and everything else because the bottom line is all that's important. We're trying to make profit.
It's all about profit.
Right. So that's a bad.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And it's proven in the entire country that the entire world that people that live in a single payer or a socialized medicine situation have better outcomes. Mm-hmm. This fantasy that people from Canada, people from all these other countries travel here to get. Listen, just because one person from the Middle East travel here to get knee surgery does not mean that everybody in the world,
the whole Middle East does,
comes here for knee surgery.
No.
Right?
People, I don't know. Yeah, it's very warped.
Well, they want to believe the way it is and everything else, mm-hmm. and I don't blame them. They've been sold fear.
Well, Mike and I were just having this conversation, and he was like, "Well, in Canada, you know how much more they pay for gas?" I said, "No, how much more?" It's like less than $1 a gallon more. I'm like, oh, whoop-de-doo. And then,
but wait. But my question would be, where does that dollar go?
Well, and then he said, milk. How much is it? I'm like, well, how much is a gallon of milk? I'm like, so you're saying that you would trade, you wouldn't trade paying all this money that we pay for our healthcare premiums, right. Our out-of-pocket expenses, our deductibles, our high prescription costs, everything because of an extra $1 a gallon for gas, which right. goes to fund healthcare.
The roads or the healthcare system or whatever else.
So, yeah.
That's my thing. Listen, the problem is anything complicated, people can't wrap their brain around it because I don't know what it is. There's got to be maybe
it's what they hear and they sound bites.
Well, I don't know if it's an amount of time that you can have a thought in your head when you're trying to talk about it until that thought kind of goes away and then you like lose track of what you were saying, sort of a deal. But if you would just step way back and look at the big picture, like Sanders has got such trouble with the whole thing because the reporters are terrible. They say stuff like, "Are you going to raise my taxes?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Yes, your taxes will go up to pay for a healthcare system, but you won't have health insurance to pay for anymore."
Right.
Like, and if you
they're going to be ahead of the game.
Right, because we pay 3 times as much as Denmark pays for healthcare. We pay 3 times as much as Germany does for healthcare. So if we take that, and then the other
civilized countries, people like want to compare us to like
Venezuela and stuff like that, which it's not dumb. What happened there. What happened there was the government took over the oil industry and they were corrupt. They were keeping the money.
Yeah, that's not
no
the
one
same
has
thing.
Said we're gonna.
We should be Venezuela.
Right, we should be Venezuela. No one said we're gonna annex all the government is going to run everything now. But the other one that like absolutely drives me up the fucking wall is most people's health care is connected to your job.
Yes.
Right? So, and because someone has good health care through it's the I got mine, Jack, go fuck yourself.
I left my job in November. I will not, and I've been working where I am since March. Well, it was like a temp to hire, whatever.
Yeah.
It's everybody that, goes through those.
Yep. That's how you get placed.
Yeah, but, they found me. But anyway, so my health insurance won't go into effect until October 1st.
So you get Cobra or something like that?
Right? I've just gone without.
Just without. Okay, right, which that's terrible because something terrible happens.
But it was cheaper. Right now to go without. But that's what you're saying. Your health insurance.
Well, the problem with that, though, is if you have some signs of cancer, you're going to wait until your insurance kicks in to find out.
Yeah, because you can't
afford
to go.
It could be too late. You could be dead.
Yeah, right.
But
it's all tied to your employer.
Right, and so on a podcast again, trying to do a deeper dive on how that matters. I have a friend of mine who does great concrete work. He really does a nice job. He did the concrete work here. You said, "Oh, the concrete looks really nice." It does
look nice.
He worked for FedEx and did that job as he had little kids and all that other stuff. He probably, in my mind, he should have been a guy who never worked for FedEx and he should have opened his own construction company. He would have done a fine job. He would have made a fine amount of money. He would have had more control over his life. He could have opened a mom and pop, like a regular small business and stuff. He was never afforded that luxury because he needed to stay with FedEx for the health care that he had. Right. So you took away a job or a business a guy could have opened because he couldn't leave there because he had kids. If your health care was not tied to your business, more people could create businesses.
Oh my gosh, people stay in jobs that they hate.
Well, if someone hasn't noticed, noticed, if you just pick your head up for a minute and start to look at the way things are going, everything is funneling into bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. All the little companies are going away and they're getting absorbed. Walmart comes to town and kills all the mom and pop shops.
Yes.
And once they do, then Walmart doesn't offer health care at their...
No, they keep their employees part-time.
Right, so that they have to collect welfare. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you would now you're free to go and open that business. You're free to be a better part of society. You're actually free to invent the better mousetrap. You're free to innovate. You're free to do all these things that you were just a guy grinding away at your job. I mean, this guy does really nice concrete work, and he spent his entire adult life delivering packages because the healthcare was good, the pay was good, and everything else, and it was steady work. He didn't have to worry about it. So if you detach that, it's a better outcome for the economy. It's a better outcome for people.
Oh, for sure.
So there's all kinds of ways to look at things in a different way. I know we've been going for quite a while, but one other one. Did you see that the Trump administration? There's things that they say that sound so good when you first hear them. Like I was even like, oh, that's not bad. Then I'm like, well, let's think about it though. They want to do means testing for immigration. So they want to go to a merit-based system versus letting people who are going to pick strawberries and watermelons and all that stuff in. They want to let people in that are, and the soundbite was, we're going to get the best people for the country to move here. Mm-hmm. And at first I was like, yeah, that's good. We want good people in here. Now, first off, we are getting good people in here because there's all kinds of people that come from other countries that work in Silicon Valley and stuff like that, and they get visas, and they end up being
doctors, everything.
They end up being illegal aliens because they overstay their visas and stuff like that. So they're still coming, but it seems to me that if we cut off all the bottom and we only allow the people with PhDs and masters and stuff like that to move in here, aren't we actually doing the thing that the people they're taking their jobs so afraid of? Because now...
Yeah, because anybody who's chanting that is not picking strawberries in the field.
Right. But now if we go to a merit-based system, the only jobs are going to be taken are the good jobs. Yeah. Guess what jobs are going to be open? Strawberry picker.
Right.
So, that doesn't make any sense to me. Listen, we need people to dig ditches. We need people to pick strawberries. We need people to pick oranges and apples and all that other stuff. I don't need people to be engineers. Both my sons want to be engineers, so I don't need that.
Right.
We should develop that here.
I mean, and seriously, think about it. If that's all we bring in here, and we don't have anybody working in the fields or anything else, think about how high our grocery prices are going to go. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous, but people don't stop to think about that.
Right.
They just think about the brown person.
The Republicans bought ammunition when Obama became president. When Trump became president, started putting tariffs and stuff. I bought a TV. I'm like, he's going to put tariffs on all that shit. A TV is going to cost me way too much money now. So I'm like, I better buy a damn TV.
Better buy it now.
Right. Which, I don't, the gun thing doesn't, I got the guns for hunting, but I don't do the other way. But anyways, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else that you thought that you wanted to hit on.
We covered about it all.
Yeah, we did. We covered a lot, and that's the point. Like I said, I would love to get more. I wanted to turn it into a debate. I mean, we did a little bit of back and forth on the Democratic thing, but I was really only just trying to get across. Listen, for me, the best way forward is to find the person that the most enthusiasm is behind, because the people that are going to vote for Joe Biden, they're going to vote for Beto. They're going to vote for Elizabeth Warren. They're going to vote.
Yeah. I mean, do your own research. Pick your best candidate. Vote for that person in the primary. But at the end of the day, whoever wins, vote for that person in the general.
Sure. I still think that there's people out there that you have to say stuff like, I mean, I know it's a knock on Joe Biden, but for me, if he doesn't get anything done, it's a waste. It's like picking a Michael Jordan and his knees are broken. He can't play. I got that pick, but I didn't get anything out of it. You know what I mean?
We'll stop the awfulness, but no, we won't make much progress.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
some of the awfulness won't stop. I mean, I don't know where his position is on the profit for prisons. I don't know where his, I don't know what judges he would put in place. he's not the most liberal guy in the world.
He's not, but I have to. Well, I don't know. I would think.
And there's no litmus test for that either, because Trump's not conservative.
No, but look at who he's picked. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Well, it was fun.
It was fun.
I'm glad I had you out.
Yeah.
What you call it? I always have to leave every podcast with. I don't do this for money. I just do it for the good conversations. And I do it for, I want to be enlightened on stuff. I want people to tell me stuff. Now, today was a little tough because we come from pretty much, come from the same spot a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know this, there's going to be a lot of my right-wing friends that are going to, listen about 30 seconds of this. They're like, all right, get the fuck out of here. I do it for people's feedback on stuff. I want to know what you think. I really appreciate it if you, and I should put this sometime in the front of my podcast so the guy listens to 30 seconds maybe still goes and subscribes to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, right.
But, so please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You need 1,000 subscribers to make even pennies on the YouTube channel now. So it's, like I said, it's not for money. It's just like a reward for me. It's something I can see that people are actually taking a look at it. The podcast can be found on Apple. It can be found on Google Play. Pretty much anywhere a podcast can be found. Let me know what you think and check it out. We had a good time talking.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.